Perfect.
Test. Let me get a test.
Test.
Perfect. Good? You comfortable?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Samantha, you go by Sam or anything like that?
Samantha.
Just Samantha?
Yeah.
Normal government name?
My normal government name. Yeah.
Yeah. You looking for me, you can find me at the spot. Chopping it up with Jonah. We talking about what's hot on the block. Up in Dago, man, we bumping. Keeping it confidential, you know this how we coming, we ain't front. Looking for that real, better tune in and stick by. Put on for the city every time that I dip by. Getting to that gritty every time that we sit down. Promise you it's real every time that I get round. Come on. Been in the field playing, we work.
Welcome back, Barbershop Confidential, the podcast. Your boy Jonah. Today we have a special guest, comedian Samantha. How you doing, Samantha?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming through. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I know you guys, comedians, are busy. Always working on your craft.
Yeah, it's a full-time gig, but you know
It really is.
Well,
huh?
yeah, it just it takes a lot of time.
How did you get into comedy?
So I have like a theater background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was theater kid in high school.
Don't they have a name? Like a term for that? Like,
I think it's theater kid. It's
theater
like
kid?
the term. Well, it's like different. They're like, the singers got Glee. They were
okay,
Gleeks.
Glee, yeah.
They were the Glee kids, the Gleeks. But theater kid, I think it was just theater kid.
My niece is a theater kid.
Oh, really?
And her boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
So much that they went in, like she works at the Balboa Theater.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
And he did something like that, but now he teaches at Southwestern.
Oh, cool.
So that's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to make fun of her.
But
she didn't invite me. She's like, you want to come to my play? I was like, are you in it? She's like, no, I'm behind the scene. I was like, no, I don't want to.
Oh, she does tech.
Yeah, she's a tech.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
she's
hard.
like the
My sister
stage
did tech.
manager.
That's sick. That's
or something like
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on stage.
Oh, okay.
Because I like attention. Obviously. So yeah, I had a theater background and then really wanted to just and I grew up loving comedy. My parents would take me to comedy shows and stuff. And then it was a very fun way to continue to perform. Because theater is also very time consuming, but it's it's a very scheduled activity. When you're in a show, you have to show up to rehearsal, right. And it's hard. It's not a self-contained entity. Versus comedy, you
pretty much
set your
on
own schedule. Yeah. It's a lot easier to continue as an adult. So that's kind of initially how I got started, and then just.
Was there a point where you were like the class clown, or somebody was like, "Oh my god, you should be a comedian"?
It's funny because I feel like people had two reactions when I first started. So I did get my high school superlative was most likely to be on SNL, which is
that's what's up.
I don't think that was my actual high school reputation, no, at all. I was known as uptight.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. But I just did theater, so okay. I did improv, so people knew me as the theater girl. But I was definitely known as being more uptight than I was never class clown. I don't think I broke a single rule.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
So yeah, my grandma was like, "You're too serious to do comedy." She was like, "You're."
I say, "Grandma, come on, grandma."
But my dad thought so. I got a very polarized reaction. My dad was like, even we would go to comedy shows, and he would always look at me. He was like, "I know you're gonna start doing this in a couple of years, and please show us in a good light." Oh,
so you don't come from a traumatic background where I would use that darkness for
darkness. I would say I have acute amount of trauma.
Okay.
Diet trauma, a little bit, a splash, a sprinkle.
Trauma,
but
light.
Not from my family. It came later.
Oh, okay. From experiences afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because most comedians, I feel I follow a lot of comedy, listen to comedy podcasters and stuff. And they're always saying it's, childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot do. Yeah, it's it's an interesting dynamic. I would say I had a very normal, stable childhood, which is rare.
They're gonna be like, boo, fake.
Yeah.
She's not one of us.
Yeah.
And so you did comedy or theater, and then how did you get into it?
I just started doing open mics, kind of during COVID, right as
also
COVID.
You're kind of fresh
so
at
new,
this.
yeah, pretty new at comedy still, yeah.
What was the starting? Did you get nervous? Isn't it like terrifying to get it? Oh no, you're used to it though.
That was the thing. Was like I didn't live stage fright, and people would. That was tough in the beginning. People like my friends outside of comedy were like, "Oh, you're so brave," and I'm like, "That's the worst. Don't say that." Because
we should raise a flag.
They would come to shows and they'd be like, "Oh, you're just so brave," and I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Like I hate public speaking.
I
was terrified to do it in really? College and school. But I was one of those, I was like, let me go first to get it out of the way, and I could just sit in the back and be like, at least I did it.
I was like the opposite. I was I always loved public speaking. I loved performing just in general. So I was like, give me a microphone.
So that part's easy. What about the jokes, like going up there and like, what is it called? Like bombing?
Yeah, you get used to it over time. I think that I like it. I like bombing. Like it's like a fun, like it's because it's not. I think what's great about comedy that's very different than other performing arts is like because you do it so often, like you're doing it most days, you can literally, like there's something like really humbling about the fact that it's like you can perform for 200 people and have the best set of your life and you're on top of the world, and then the next night you're performing for 5 people, bombing your ass off at a bar you had never heard of. And it's just like I like that dynamic, that it's like it keeps you grounded, which I...
Okay, it keeps you humble.
It keeps you humble, yeah.
Like, you can't get too big-headed because the next night is
because you can literally have the show of your life, and then the next day... I mean, a lot of people will talk about comics, and it's like, you're only as funny as your last set, or you're only as good as your last set. Because... And I've seen, like, what's special about comedy, too, is it's like, I have seen some of the best comics in the world bomb their ass off.
Even the best ones, I hear.
Yeah, you have to. You just,
I ate ass the other day.
Yeah, it's just like that's how the industry works. That's how the art form works. It's like the highs and lows are very extreme.
It has to be some sort of like self massacre or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, like, oh, that felt, that was good. It's like you're like, what the?
Yep, there's a lot. It's definitely for.
It's not for the weak for sure. I did stand up one time.
Oh, really? What was that like?
Horrible.
Where'd you do it?
Me and my friend, we did like a duel thing. Okay. Like we even practiced it in front of our friends, and they were like, they were so funny. And I should have like picked up, like they're just really nice, you know. And then we literally walked into, you know what Whiskey Girl is downtown?
Yeah, of course.
We walked in the old Whiskey Girl, so the one that's there, that's their new space.
Yeah.
At the old one, we walked in like during the lunch, and I was like, "Hey, would you let us do stand up?" So yeah, come in at 7 during our dinner. So we went in, and there was like one family sitting there. They're trying to have dinner, and here these 2 idiots on stage trying to crack jokes. Horrible. It was bad. Yeah,
dinner. I always doing comedy while people are eating is like truly horrific.
Yeah, it was bad.
You're just like ruining someone's night. The worst is like I've done so many shows at like restaurants where it's like they obviously were not expecting comedy, and then I just always think I'm like, these are like long lost friends who haven't seen each other in 6 months.
They're trying to catch up.
They're trying to chat, and there's just some bitch in the background talking about like they're eating. I was so bad. I have a joke about yeast infections.
I want to hear that.
It's like really out of context, but I'll do it at breweries, and I'll just look down and people are drinking beer, and I'm like, yep.
Just like that.
It tastes the same. It's the same. That's what it is.
You just need some, like, one of your friends in the background be like, sure does. You know?
Literally.
Just to get, like, the crowd, like, into it or something.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. A yeast infection? That's kind of gross. I had heard one that was like, I went down on a girl. She had a yeast infection. Started coughing up cornbread. And I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I know you don't steal jokes and stuff like that, but.
Yeah.
You can, have you run into that?
Have I run into stealing?
In your new, because you're still kind of fresh?
I would say, no. I talk about really weird things on stage, like in general. But I think that I have in the scene known other people's joke stealing.
Oh, shit.
It's like, that's definitely a thing. Or like, I think that there is a thing of like, people have like parallel thought. That happens a lot where it's like, you'll have an idea and you think it's really original, and then you'll like see a clip of someone else like saying the same thing, because comedy at the end of the day, it's like you're commenting on life, and
especially if they come from like the same culture,
right?
They experience it. Like all Mexicans, we have toxic mothers,
right? Yeah,
like it's so they're gonna have those jokes that are close to each other.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, well, that sucks because you're starting now. How did you find your niche? Like, what did you? Because do I go like the slutty route, like other women comics, or do I go the serious? How did you find yours?
I think that I've always just tried to stay really like true to myself. And I think this is when having like the performance background really helps, because I have like been able, like I know who I am. I don't feel insecure in that. And so I think that like that helps me as a comic, because I went into it knowing like this is who I am and I'm not gonna like deviate from that. I think it's hard to, I mean, I started comedy when I was 22.
Okay.
And so I think I've grown a lot as a person. Like I don't think I think about my 22-year-old self and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like poor thing. But
poor girl.
Yeah, I'm like, she was in the trenches. But like I do think that I have always really tried to like stay authentic, and I think that helps in terms of like finding your voice and like feeling confident on stage, because I don't feel like I'm like performing for, or that's, I guess, I don't feel like I'm pretending to be something I'm not on
You're
stage.
Not acting a character, you're being yourself.
Yeah, and I think that there is obviously cool. like you are a character on stage, but I think that who I am on stage is like pretty similar to who I am in real life. And so, which comes with like pros and cons, because I think that for some people who do put on like more of a character on stage, it doesn't impact them as much when they bomb, because it feels less personal.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, people don't know they're playing a persona. Yeah. So in real life, they're like, oh, you're like this. And they're probably like,
they're like, I'm not. Yeah.
I'm nothing like that.
Yeah. And I think that even though I think I am pretty similar on stage, I think people, what does happen is like, sometimes you'll finish a show and people come up to you and they'll like want to talk about like one of your jokes. And I'm like, so appreciate that you liked it. But I'm like, I don't, like, that's over now. Right. Like that person that you saw on stage is not the same person off stage talking to you right now. Like,
for instance, I post a lot of toxic shit. Like, I love the toxic memes. I think they're the funniest thing on earth. If I wasn't married, I'd probably be that. But I'm not. Like, me and my wife do have no toxic like things back and forth. So some people will send me stuff thinking like, oh, he really is like this. It's like, nah, it's just what I find funny. Yeah. It's not me in real life.
Right.
Yeah, I can see where that could be tricky for you guys to separate like real from stage. That's dope, though. You're from Maine?
No, I'm from San Diego. Oh, yeah, but I did live in Maine.
Oh, did you say you lived in Maine?
Yeah, I lived.
Oh, my fault.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I lived there for.
What part of San Diego are you from?
I'm from like Hillcrest, Mission Hills.
Okay, area, also pretty close.
Yeah.
All right, so you're from here. Did you go to school here or?
Like.
College? Did you go to?
Yeah, I went to college in Maine. That's where I lived.
Oh, in Maine. Okay. Yeah, how was that? Culture shock?
Kinda, yeah. I'm not always. I mean, people are like, it's gonna be so cold and blah blah blah. But honestly, it's not that bad. But I think it's very different to like grow up in a city and like a pretty urban environment, and then live in like a very rural.
Oh, okay.
Part of. Well, it's not technically for Maine. It's not rural, but for
your standards,
it's like rural.
I went to San Luis Obispo.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't know if you know where that is.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was a bouncer in downtown, and I was like, "This is downtown." I'm like, "Yeah, this is like where the scene is," and I was like,
"That's
it looks like." Like, you know, our Hillcrest, like just a couple bars, no real big buildings.
Yeah, it's very chill.
So for me, I was like, I guess it's like a small town for me, you know.
Yeah.
Not no city.
I know line dancing's really big there.
Yeah,
which I don't understand line dancing
at all.
I don't get it. I don't get the appeal.
I don't even like the urban one, like the Cupid Shuffle and there's in Mexico. There's the Caballo Dorado.
Okay,
it's the same thing. It's the same dance across the board.
Yeah,
I don't find it interesting at all in any culture.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not for me.
Yeah. Are you a bar girl or a club girl or?
Not really. I mean, I guess I had an era. I don't know. I'm pretty boring.
You're like a homebody now?
I'm not even that much of a home. I mean, like I'm in bars all the time because of comedy.
Oh, okay.
So I think for my like non-comedy friends, they're like, she's out every night. This crazy bitch. And then my comedy friends are like, you're the most boring person alive.
Do you do your set and then like, all right, guys?
Well, like I'll hang, but I'll like have a bottle of water.
Killing the vibe.
I'm like, I'll have like 2 drinks with a bottle of water.
Do they ask you like, is it a problem or are you in recovery or?
Oh no, I think people can tell like because there are a lot of people in recovery in comedy. It's
bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would say most people are either like addicts that don't know it yet or addicts who are in recovery. That's like the general like trend in comedy. But I just like I think it kind of goes back to the like being comfortable with myself. Like I kind of like I like to have a good time, but I think I like to like, I'm not, I don't know. I don't like to go that crazy. Also, I'm insane to begin with, so I like, don't need to add.
Don't need to stimulate that.
Yeah, we don't need to like make it worse.
I told my friend, because I don't do weed or anything like that. I was like, oh, I've been tempted to do an edible just to see
what it's like.
He's like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, I had a horrible. I've like dabbled. I've like smoked or whatever before, but like I haven't in like 2.5 years, because the last time I had like a horrible panic attack. Like really bad.
Was it smoking or edible?
Smoking. Okay. And it was with we had just started seeing each other, but it was like the person who's not my boyfriend. Like we were like, it was like the first time I'd ever been over to his place.
And you got high.
And I got high.
Inhibitions?
Not even, I wish it had been that. I just like started freaking out. His like roommate was sitting, we were like all in like outside their house, and I started freaking out. I thought I was gonna fall off the roof.
Oh, what?
I was like,
how did he take that? Did he? Oh, he stuck around. So
he was good. He handled it very well. I think he thought I was crazy, but that was good. It's like better to learn. I'm like, I usually try to hide my crazy for like a while, and
for like a couple months or something like that.
I mean, as long as I can. And
then just spring it on them.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't usually get to that point. I usually this is new for me. I usually like end things very early.
Oh, okay.
I'm like 3 months, and like that's good. We did it.
3 month rule. You're all like, good game.
Yeah.
I'll catch you around.
But now,
Tell your friend I said hey.
Exactly. This one has stuck around. So
that's what's up. Props to him.
Yeah, he saw I think, and maybe it's because he saw the crazy early that it like worked.
You know what? Honestly,
it's probably true.
When I first started dating my wife, she invited me to her cousin's house and they were drinking. And when she called me, I was like, damn, she sounds drunk. And I was like, nah, it's cool. Just enjoy it. She's like, no, come if you like. I was like, all right. And she was drunk.
Yeah.
And so I saw it. I was like, all right, it's not that bad. Like, I could stick around for this. 10 years later, like.
Yeah, it's good.
So, yeah.
It's good. I feel like it's good to, like, learn early.
For sure.
While you're working.
Because then you can decide, like.
Am I in this for the long haul? Or is this too much? Yeah. Well, that's how I always kind of knew that I wasn't in a good relationship. Because, like, I have dated people who were like, oh, you're so chill. And I'm like, oh, so you don't know me at all. Oh. We have a problem.
They haven't triggered anything.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm pretty good at like hiding my emotions, which is bad. Like I'm like not yet. I'm crazy in like a different way. Have
you thought about like checking out like little therapy action?
Oh, we've been in therapy for a year. I've been in therapy since I was
and him?
No, me. Oh. See you talking about myself.
Oh, plural. Is that Patricia?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I've been in therapy. I think my problem is I've been in therapy like too long.
Oh,
it's like I've been in therapy since I was. Well, it works now.
Okay.
I have a really good therapist now, but I've been in therapy since I was 12.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like an ongoing thing.
It's ongoing.
I got you.
Yeah.
You're committed to the role.
I'm really
for sure.
I'm committed. Yeah. But yeah.
Was that shocking? Like hard to deal with? Like young? Were you bullied for that? Or did
being
you keep
in
that
therapy?
Yeah. I feel like years ago, being in therapy was kind of like, hey, you kind of puss.
I'm Jewish. Okay. And we love therapy.
Oh, okay.
Jews love it. Right. It's like very normal. It's like very normal to be in therapy.
Like after a school thing, like going to therapy
just
now?
Like, yeah.
For sure.
It's like pretty normal.
Jew and from San Diego?
Yeah.
Is there Jews in San Diego?
There are Jews in San Diego. Okay.
We dabble. Shout out to the Jews.
I mean, there aren't really that many Jews anywhere, in like pockets. But like San Diego is like a medium-sized Jewish population.
I know the East Coast is, New York. They roll heavy out there for sure.
Well, it depends where you are.
Damn, all right. LA does, right?
LA and New York are like two of the biggest. But like, this is how small the Jewish population in Maine is. So small. I lived there for 4 years, and I'm in the Jewish Museum of Maine. I swear to God.
You're an artifact to them?
And they were like, a Jew lived here. This is crazy. Gotta put it in a museum.
It's like a shrine of you?
And just like a picture of me making.
That's what's up.
Cooking some Jewish.
You could take like your kids there one day. And, like,
I'd be like,
that's mom.
There was a Jew in Maine one time.
Is there a freeway named after me? I don't know.
Maybe.
That's crazy. That's what's up though.
Yeah.
Is that where the name from your podcast? You say
two Jews, one guy. Yeah. So we were both.
I ain't like no disrespect.
Yeah.
I love the community.
Yeah.
When they said that, I was like, okay, so one of them's gay.
Right.
And my initial thought was you.
Right.
And then I saw the other girl's page. I was like, never mind. I think it's her.
Whoa. Okay. Well, this is the plot twist. The plot twist is that it's math. So it's like we're both. The real origin story of this is like so much. funnier, like so much more random. So like essentially we'd seen this concept. Someone had posted 2 bodies, 1 soul about them and their friend. And we thought that was really funny.
That's
and
cute,
so we
I guess.
started saying that we were 2 bodies, 1 soul. And then one day I was like, we're 2 Jews, 1 gay. Because
I see.
we're both Jewish. We're both full Jews. So 2. But then we're both half gay because we're both bi.
Oh. So
we're 2 Jews, 1 gay.
Half and half equals 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. That's clever.
Well, we started just saying 2 Jews, 1 gay, not as a podcast. And then I think and then it was just like, oh, that'd be a good podcast name. Didn't have a podcast idea, didn't know what it was going to look like. We're like, we just need to start a podcast because this name is fire.
Is it, when people ask, do you have to sit there and be like explain it over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Or they just accept it like, whatever.
Yeah, we just kind of liked it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I think people... I think it had a little cool. People really liked it. People liked our dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's on break right now?
We're on break. Yeah.
Like internal issues or something? Like
no, I mean we're still good friends. I think it's just like it's hard. I mean, as you know, like as a podcaster, like I think it's a lot of work.
For sure.
And I think like we both have like a lot of different projects we're interested in. So it's just like
busy.
Life is busy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I had a co-host, it was sometimes hard.
Yeah.
It's like we can't, like most of the time now it's just me and a guest. So it's easy to have like a random conversation. Totally. But with her, it's like I already know everything about you. Now what do we talk about?
Yeah.
So plus our lives get busy and
yeah, I think it's just like hard to like coordinate.
I like the name though. It's dope.
It's a good name.
For sure.
You never know. It might come back at any minute. We don't.
Are you maybe because you're from San Diego? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is your family like traditional?
Traditional what sense?
Like the Jews and like religion?
Oh, like religiously? Kind of. I mean, so like both of my parents are Jewish, and we like grew up going to like synagogue, and like became a bar mitzvah. I was like pretty involved in Judaism throughout high school and college. So, but we're not like I like grew up Reformed Jewish, so it's like not pretty, which is like
not super strict.
Yeah, it's very not strict.
So they're you like being like bi to them is like,
oh yeah,
it's all right.
They don't care.
Oh, that's what's up.
They don't care at all. Actually, I think they liked it. I think
shout out to the progress.
Yeah, my sister's gay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they like, I think that they wanted.
They're like half breed.
Yeah, they're like not enough.
Go all the way.
Yeah, my parents like I think really wanted queer children.
They're like those TikTok videos of that. They're like a couple.
Yeah.
And the son's like, "Mom, I'm bringing home."
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend. They're all like, "My son will not be straight."
Yeah, that's energy.
Pretty much
that's energy. Okay. A little bit.
Yeah,
and they would never admit to that, but.
And they like the comedy.
Yeah, I mean, so both. I think the good thing is that both my mom loves, especially my mom is like a huge comedy fan, so she just I think thinks it's like cool that I'm like in that world, and like I've met a lot of comics that she really likes, and I've gotten to like perform with people that she's followed, so that's I think cool for her.
That's dope.
I think my parents are very supportive. I do think my dad might hate it. But like he would never tell me, like he's very like, well, I think for him, again, like I said, like he was like, I know you're going to do this. Like, I think
he kind of just accepted
He just like knew before I even started. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then, he knew.
He's like, you were supposed to be a doctor.
He's a doctor. But,
he's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
For sure. Then he's a little.
He's a doctor. Well, I don't think he ever thought I was going to be a doctor. I think he
probably gets roasted in his group chat. Like, how's your daughter? The comedian. And he's like, damn.
Yeah, it's but I think they're very supportive.
Because usually like that community, like that culture, they're very like pressuring of their children.
Yeah, I would say like
follow in footsteps.
My parents like really didn't care. I mean, like my grandparents. Well, my like I have family members who are more like that. But I also I think they're just happy that I'm happy, and my parents are pretty like chill.
That's so. Can I ask you about the bar mitzvah?
Yeah, sure.
What is I know I've heard about like the guy, how they get circumcised.
Well, that's when you're a baby.
Oh, what? I see ignorance of the culture. I'm sorry. No, I thought they did it at the bar mitzvah.
No, that'd be crazy.
My man, you're 13. Pull the meat out.
That would be so insane.
So it has nothing to do with the.
No. So there is something.
I hate TV.
There is something called a bris, which is when you're like a baby. You're 7 days old.
Okay.
You get circumcised when you're 7 days old.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
Yeah.
the whole time I was like, teenager?
But it's kind of crazy. I will say it's kind of crazy. The bris. It's like a little bit insane because like you don't do it in a hospital. Well, some people do.
Right, they do like at a home or something, right?
Yeah, so like I've been to brises and they're super weird. I mean, like I would, and it's not for me.
That's crazy.
It's really.
That's crazy that that's something you invite people to.
Yeah, you're just
everybody,
like,
please.
Yeah, and then you're just like eating. No, then it's like you're eating a bagel, and then all of a sudden it's happening.
You have to see my son's meat get chopped.
Pretty much, yeah. It's kind of
a little bit off the top, dog. Yeah, and it's usually a rabbi who does it, right?
So no, the rabbi like does like the blessings, but then it's usually like there's like it's usually a doctor. I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. But like my grandfather did my cousins because my grandfather's also a doctor.
Oh, so but I mean he's a doctor though. So.
Yeah, he's a doctor. He's a surgeon. It was
so
he was good. It was good. Yeah.
He knows how to.
They I think did a good job.
That's kind of scary though.
Yeah, it's insane.
For sure. Wasn't there like a case where there was a doctor like who was using his mouth to do it?
I really hope not. I don't know.
Maybe that was just TV. I need to stop watching TV.
I think it's probably just
I'm very
TV.
Easily influenced off the
I just
television.
don't think you could use your mouth to do that, I would think. But I think there are a lot of like I don't know. I think there is like a lot of like people have there are a lot of like stereotypes wrapped up in it. It's like a very I think it's so I grew up with a sister.
Okay.
Like, so we were both like it was not a part of, I grew up in such a like woman household that I like forget that they're like
a lot of estrogen.
Yeah, I just forget that like men exist in Judaism. I'm like, oh right, yeah.
Like, oh, that guy?
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing that thing over there, I guess.
But for like the women, there's nothing like.
So you do, well, it depends what like sect of Judaism you are, but like for like me and my sister, like we did what's called a baby naming ceremony, and you just like get a Hebrew name.
Oh,
it's much chiller.
Can I know your Hebrew name?
Yeah, it's Simcha.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it means celebration.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Is your boyfriend Jewish?
No.
Is he Christian?
I mean, yeah, I don't. Well, he like grew up Catholic, but he's
okay.
He doesn't really like religion.
Okay,
which is fine. I don't.
No, 100. You know.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I'm just saying, like, further on, let's say if he is the one you're going to marry,
are
your parents going to be like, hey, my guy, like...
I don't think my parents expected me to marry a Jewish person.
Okay.
I don't think that was ever, like, on the vision board. Like, I just, like...
Your dad's like, well, she didn't become a doctor, so... Hopefully she'll marry a Jew.
I just don't think I really... Like, yeah, my parents are not... I mean, I, like, honestly am more... I probably observe Judaism more than both my parents do. Like, I'm more, although I guess not as much. I don't know. But yeah, and so I don't think they ever really cared. I
just think it's interesting, like, cultures.
Yeah.
I think when I was, like, younger, I didn't think about culture in a relationship. Totally. But I think it's kind of important to a point.
I think I feel like, I don't know, I was, like, listening to someone the other day talk about how, like, people always, they'll say like, oh, Jews, like they love food and they love like being loud. And then it's like Italians, they love food and they love being loud. And Greeks, they love food and they love being loud. And then it's like Mexicans, they love food and they love being loud. Right. It's like every culture except for like wasps are like, just like, they're loud and they like food.
Yeah,
so I think it's like
being loud in food is
I think the only like culture I like really would struggle with is like someone who was just like wasp. I like don't know what I would do with that.
It'd be like it's not gonna work.
It's just like there's nothing there.
It's just like those trends where like how do I explain like a bar mitzvah to somebody who is used to quinceañeras, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I feel like it's the same thing. Like a bar mitzvah and a quinceañera, it's the same thing. A big party around when you're early teens, you get gifts.
Oh, okay. Big dress.
Big dress.
All right. Well, in, I don't know, Mexican culture, they usually come with like a baby or something.
Yeah.
They're usually pregnant by that age and shit.
Yeah, I didn't have that. Thank God. Thank God I wasn't pregnant like at 13.
Child pregnancy or young pregnancy is not a thing in
I would say culture. The Jewish stereotype is that you were like doing IVF and you're 45 and you're like, I gotta have a kid. Well, there's like there is like a stereotype of like Jewish women are very like what careers are important to them, and so it's like a lot of Jewish women do have kids later except for Orthodox Jewish women. I have like cousins, pretty distant cousins that are like Orthodox and they're like going to college, pumping out, like getting married, pumping out a kid right away. It's crazy.
They probably judge you hard.
I don't even know that. Like I don't even think they know who I
judge away. Don't know you when you become famous.
Well, it's like my grandma. I mean,
Speaking into existence, yeah.
Maybe. I love that. But it's my grandma's first cousin.
Oh, okay.
And she was an only child, and then she had 4 kids, and now she has like 64 great-grandchildren or something insane. No, that was not, yeah.
Oh, Mexican culture, we have like big family. Like my mom had 20 brothers and sisters.
That's a lot. But that's like my, so if you go backward, like my grandparents' parents had like 12 plus siblings. Yeah.
How were they? I'll
that's
ask
like
my
a
mom,
lot.
Yo, 20 kids? My grandpa was dealing with that? I felt bad for him. Like, that's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids.
A lot of yelling.
It's a lot of.
My grandma, he was at work all day. She had to take care of like 20 little, rugrats and shit.
I like couldn't think about one. So like right. 20 is like.
I just came back from visiting my niece. I was like, oh, it's cool. I get to leave.
Yeah. Kids are such a fun accessory. Yeah, for sure. Really not needed.
The temporary one, like rental.
Yeah, it's like so fun for an hour.
You hold them, you're like, take your shit back.
Yeah, just like the second they cry. Yeah.
There's kids in that's another thing. Like culturally, like, does he want kids? And you're like,
no, we like both don't want kids,
right?
so it's kind of just like chill.
I feel like that's the new wave.
Yeah,
like less kids, which is why they're like,
I just don't think we like want to afford that.
Oh, afford a kid?
Like, yeah, sure. I'm just like, you have to pick. Like, do I want to like have a house or a kid? I feel like that is true.
I don't even want a dog because you got to get a babysitter for a dog.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we just went to Boston. It was like, hey, I called my niece, like, come feed the cats once a day. Like, they got the rest,
I'm trying to keep one plant alive. Yeah. That's like really where I'm.
You're struggling.
It's hard. It's hard to keep one plant.
One plant, I'll walk in here and be like, damn, a leaf died. I gotta
like,
put some water in that shit.
I'm like, that's all I have to offer.
Yeah. That's cool. At least you acknowledge that.
Yeah, a
lot of people have kids and they're like shitty parents and shit.
I honestly, I don't know. I might be a good parent. We don't need to find out. That's like.
Hey, but if you're a bad parent, they become good comedians and then.
I guess.
Like, damn, she did good. Look at
I don't think I want my kid to be a comedian.
What, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. If I did have a kid, I feel like I would want them to like. I don't even know. It's all gonna be AI, so they're like, there's gonna be nothing left for them.
Nothing. There's
literally gonna be nothing left.
Computers are gonna run everything.
Yeah.
I should get one of those robot babies.
A robot baby. There we go. That'd be cool.
I'll program it to my liking.
Yeah. Do you know like the American Girl Biddy babies? Is that too niche?
I've never seen that one.
It's just like a baby. It's just like a fancy baby doll. I'll get one of those.
It might be expensive, and if I break it,
yeah, they're like $200.
That's a lot.
But it's a lot cheaper than having a kid.
But it sounds like an Uber is cheaper than DUI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so exactly.
For sure.
I like that we were comparing a DUI to having a kid. I mean, you could.
A DUI is like it comes with like a big consequence.
Yeah, just like a kid.
You have to stay in a lot.
Yeah,
it's like a DUI. You're in jail. Yeah. You know, so can't go nowhere.
That's hard.
I think it's like
It's the same. Yeah.
Might as well just be the same thing.
I mean, yeah.
For sure. I was listening to your clip that you posted about the parents.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, I didn't know a 12-year-old can take it. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that either. And that clip's like longer, but the camera was shaky, so I had to cut it. I really was riffing with it. But they got mad.
They got mad?
Well, they were, because I was like insulting their parenting. I cut it out, but I was like really insulting their parenting. But like everyone else was, I do that a lot. I love to like push dig into people. And then, like, everyone else is having a good time. But then sometimes I feel bad.
You know what? I just don't think they expected it from you. I'm like, look at this nice.
That's what people always say. Is that, like, they don't.
Nice young Jewish lady. She's not going to roast me.
People, because I'm short, people think that I'm nice. Yeah. I don't get that at all. Because I'm not. I mean, I'm like, I try to be nice.
Right.
But I would say I'm not.
But when you leave your 12-year-old kid alone.
Well, that was crazy.
Let's be for real.
And then I, like, dug in deeper. There was, like, a part where they were, like. One of the other parents in the room had like left 2 kids home and I'm home alone. I'm like, so they're raiding your liquor cabinet right now. Like that's what's happening.
They're just trying to get on Wi-Fi. Know. These kids these days are fucking pussy.
Well, yeah.
They're not like how, like sneaking out.
I guess, yeah.
Drinking or they're just like trying to be on their phone all day.
Yeah.
Don't know TikTok dances or whatever.
Literally. No, I'm very worried about Gen Alpha or whatever. For sure. They're not okay.
Yeah. The tablet babies.
The tablet,
that's
crazy. The iPad babies. I want to be an iPad baby though.
You want to be one?
Well, I think it'd be like really fun to just spend all day on an iPad and have no other response. Like have someone feed me and like just get to be on an iPad all day. No. I want like
because they usually provide that kind of life.
That's like strings attached though.
Oh, I mean, get one on the way out.
like dying.
Yeah.
I just
in his bed already.
I guess.
Just go by and shake him like soaking. There you go, my guy.
You're just
be all right.
I feel like for me, I just want to have an iPad. Like that's all. I'm just like all day.
It is the life though. Like I was saying, Mondays are my day off. Like my wife was in here working, and I was in the living room just on my phone chilling. I was like, this is life. Like
it's like pretty
back to life tomorrow, but right now I'm happy. And then she came out, and I was like, ruined my day.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I do. I'm just like, I don't know. I like to brain rot.
Oh, right?
Yeah, I'm just cool. Like, it's over, just nothing.
The problem is I got ADHD.
Oh, okay.
Diagnosed by TikTok, of course.
Oh, right, so, right. Yeah.
Like, it's really affecting my...
That is hard.
For sure.
Yeah.
Are you a TikTok user? I was trying to find you TikTok.
Yeah, I am a TikTok user.
I couldn't find your TikTok.
I really don't post on it that much. I'm starting to post more.
Okay.
I'm trying.
What's your algorithm look like?
It's kind of crazy. Like, well, I will say my algorithm has gone a little bit fucked up. But I, like, not just, like... Because I'm trying to promote shows, so I like spend all day looking at San Diego, like whatever people. So it's my algorithm is a lot of like San Diego influencers now. But I would say my algorithm is mostly like a combination of like queer TikTok with like I love sports. I'm a big so I have a lot of sports on my TikTok. I have a lot of politics on my TikTok.
Politics?
Yeah.
Okay. You into like the that's something you like?
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up.
We like it's okay. We don't have to go there. But yeah, I like so that's like kind of a combo.
I'll cut it out. Like I'm just curious actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were pro Israel then.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You don't have to cut it out yet.
Oh,
I can talk about it. Yeah, like I mean so I think
I figured
no, you're good, you're good.
So
yeah, well, I think that no, it's all good. I think like I mean, I think my like larger politics on this issue is like a lot more complicated. Because I like have, it's a much longer answer. But I think for me, like I very much believe in like Palestinians' right for self-determination. I think that the state of Israel is like shouldn't. I don't think Israel should exist in the format that it does, and I think that it's like fundamentally like a problem that like. One people's self-determination should not come at the cost of another people's self-determination. It was like the TLDR, I guess, of my like take.
Right. Does your like older family or older, do they feel like that or do they think the opposite? Yeah,
I mean, it's like really, I think interesting. I think like I have family who have like shifted a lot on this issue. Mm-hmm. I would say that like I grew up in like a different, so like a lot of American Jews do grow up in like a very explicitly Zionist like mindset.
Right.
And I like definitely was exposed to that, but I think that like my parents were always like pretty critical of the state of Israel. So like I didn't start from a place of like being incredibly pro-Israel, but
okay, that makes sense.
Like shifted. Yeah, I think that like even like as I grew up, my like views on it have shifted, but I think like fundamentally like I just think that like I just fundamentally think that like one people's freedom and security and safety should not come at the cost of another person or group.
That makes sense. I agree with you for sure. I just was like, well, I don't want to.
No, you're good. You're
shake the pot a little
bit.
You're good. That's cool. What sports you like?
Okay.
Are you a football girl?
I do like football.
Okay.
I would say the main sports that I like watch on my own time are soccer and baseball.
Okay.
I'm a big women's soccer fan. I go to like the San Diego Wave.
Is that the new team that's out here?
Yeah, now they're like in their third season. We just finished our third season.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The ones that play right here at the Snapdragon?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I love going to those games.
My niece plays soccer. She's 4.
Oh, cool.
And I was a very competitive sports person. Like being who I am and then me playing sports was two different persons. Like I have no friends on the field or the court.
Yeah.
It was very much like doggy dog.
Yeah.
So watching like my niece play this like Bumblebee League and it's just like throw an elbow, man. Like, you know, like
they don't even like kick the ball in the goal.
Right, yeah. It's
they like don't. It's so cute though.
Yeah.
Well, they're like the size of the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. And then my friend's daughter, they're trying to recruit her to play pro.
Oh, cool.
Like in a different country.
Oh, cool.
But she's still too young for that.
Yeah.
But I went to go see her play, and it's like, damn, these girls, first of all, these girls are tall.
Yeah.
Like these girls who play like competitive, not school sports, but like the club. The one that you play. They're big as fuck, dude. I was like, yo, these girls are big. They're gonna be pros for sure. That's the only thing I thought. I was like, this is a pro athlete. In my
no, it's like crazy. I love women's sports, and it's like been really cool to watch like the growth for sure. It's like it's gone from being like a very niche thing to now like having a professional team to root for. Yeah, it was almost like before it was like just give them a team so they can go play, and now there's like money put into it. I mean it's like a really huge. It's grown so much. It's just really cool to see. The women's Olympic team really put a light on women's soccer.
Oh,
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, they went crazy. And they won like the World Cup too.
They did not win the World Cup, unfortunately.
Not this one, but the last one, right?
Well, we've won World Cups before. Yeah. But we lost bad in the last World Cup. But then we just won Olympic gold. That counts. It's pretty good.
It's more than the men did, so.
Yeah, I mean, the men haven't done anything. Yeah. So
it's not their sport.
It's not their sport.
In the world.
Yeah. They don't dominate by any means. But they're like, they're trying. They get what are those trophies that you get at the end of the year, the kids? Oh, participation.
They get a trophy, for sure.
But I'm a huge Dodgers fan, which is controversial because I grew up in San Diego. I know. But so I just had a very good October. I appreciate
you coming through. And no.
So I had a very good October. That was really cool.
How are you a Dodger fan from San Diego? Yeah. Now we're going to get into it.
Okay, So my grandparents are from Brooklyn.
Okay.
So they were Brooklyn Dodger fans. Right. And then they moved to LA right around when the Dodgers moved to LA. So my dad grew up in LA as a Dodger fan. And it was literally in my parents' vows. That my mom, who was a Yankees fan, I mean, not that passionate, but she's from New York, that she would be a Dodger fan and like they would raise their children as Dodger fans. Like that's how serious.
I feel like you was already, very against the grain. You could have done it with the baseball team.
I could have, but
you had to give them one.
That was like commitment. I mean, my parents, I wasn't allowed to watch TV growing up. That was like a decision, or like when I was young, decision my parents had made, and like I was a baby and my mom was like out doing something, and I was like, my dad turned on Sports Center, and my mom comes in, I'm watching TV, she's like, I thought we agreed we weren't gonna do this, and he's like, what sport? It doesn't count. So I was always allowed to watch sports, and we were allowed to watch movies.
What was that about that they didn't let you?
It was literally like screen time like bad for your health. It wasn't like about the content. Like I literally was watching R-rated movies when I was like 5.
Right.
But it was just like they wanted us to like play outside and like
that makes sense.
Read books or whatever.
Smart,
Yeah.
Not brain rot in front of the TV.
Yeah. The brain rot would come later. Yeah.
Grew up like my parents are from Mexico, so they're like, I was the only one born here in my whole entire family.
Yeah.
So watching TV with them, they would just put on things they thought was funny, and so we used to watch like these like older sitcoms that were like risky,
Yeah.
And I would tell my friends like, oh yeah, we watched this, and they're like, oh, my mom would never let me watch that.
Yeah.
But I think because my parents didn't understand the language too well, they just didn't know.
Totally.
They didn't understand the context of what was being said on TV.
What would always happen for us was like, my mom's like, this was my favorite movie from the 80s. And then we would sit down and watch it, and like a scene would happen. She's like, I forgot about that scene. I forgot about that. My bad.
She didn't do like cover your eyes. Yeah.
She's just like, oops.
To this day, I can't watch like a sex scene with my mom. I'm like,
wish I could say the same.
It's uncomfortable where I'm like, wow, really fast forward this part. Please.
Yeah, I just like, my family was like very, very open about that stuff. Like always very willing to talk about it. So like we're all comfortable.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that.
Yeah, they're cool.
Even to this day, like my mom would be like, "You're married." I'm like, "Hey, like she just deflowered me." Like, I don't know. What are you talking about, mom? Like,
right before I left for college, my mom we were on like a walk. It was like literally like the week I was leaving, and she's like, "I just want you to know that there's something called super gonorrhea." And she's like, so we're gone.
Fear mongering.
Well, like, no, it wasn't even fear mongering. It was like, she's like, yeah, like, because that is actually true. That like, there's like
a strand of like super.
Well, so there's like there become some strains of like gonorrhea that like you can't treat with antibiotics, or that it's like antibiotic resistant.
The staph infection.
And so she's
gonorrhea.
just like, you just like use a condom, but like. They're very sex positive.
Oh, that's just very like modern.
Yeah, they're very like hippie. I had a very hippie dippy upbringing.
So I use blunts, don't use paper.
Pretty much. I always joke that my mom is like way cooler than me.
Oh.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's done way more drugs than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in the 80s, you know?
I mean, yeah, in the 80s. We'll go with
she
that.
hears white lines, she's like, what?
She just has cool stories.
She's like, Samantha, let me tell you.
She grew up in New York, and she'll just be like, yeah, when I was in high school, like, we were hanging out with Andy Warhol at the, like, whatever. And I was like, okay, wow.
That's fire.
Yeah. Just like, can't compete with
That's kind of cool. I feel like that era in New York.
Yeah, it was a cool era.
There's just, I don't know, I don't want to call him famous because he's a photographer, but in the 80s and the 90s, he used to go on tour with like the Beastie Boys.
Oh, cool.
Because he was just a kid on the street.
That's so cool.
And then he'd be like, you want to come take pictures? He's like, oh, okay, cool. And now he's like, his photography is amazing. Yeah. But he took a picture of Andy Warhol with that artist, I don't even know, his lover or his man or whatever. At a fucking hot dog stand and took that picture. So cool. And it's like a famous picture of them. Yeah. And he was just some random kid who had a camera.
That's so cool.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance, Ricky Powell. Yeah. There's a documentary on HBO.
Oh, cool.
It's fire. Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm into photography. So I'm a photographer too. So
cool.
That's why it just came to mind.
Yeah.
That's how I know who Andy Warhol is.
There you go.
Because of that photographer. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Do you make money now on your comedy? Is it paid or is it still like on the free?
It's like so all over the place.
Okay.
Like, you never really know what to... Like, every month is so different. Oh. So, it's like, sometimes you're bringing in... I mean, it's not my full-time gig. But
okay.
Like,
that was
yeah. Like, but, like, you do... I would say like, some months, it's, like, nothing. And some months you could get, like, a couple $100. But it's, like, pretty...
But do you have, like, a normal...
I do have a normal
like a 9 to 5, whatever.
Yeah.
Do they support it or do you tell them?
I would say they do all now know. Okay. Which I did not lead with. But yeah.
Oh, when you got the job, you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, so like I've worked, like the place I worked before, everybody knew, and I was like pretty open about it. But then this job, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna really tell people because I work remotely, so I was like, it's a little bit easier to like I'm not seeing them in the office every day. Right. But then like they kind of found out about it through me. Like over time, I revealed it. And then one of my coworkers has come to a show.
That's cool.
They liked it. So
the internet burned us out, huh?
Yeah. Well, that wasn't like they don't even like follow me on social media or anything. But
right.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've come across or
I hope
been sent.
Not, but I'm sure they have. Yeah.
I just picked up. I have coworkers. I'm the only one in San Diego. Like my coworkers are like LA.
Yeah.
Whatever. Right. And in a group chat, they were like, "Oh, Jonah." And I go by my full name, Jonathan. Yeah. So I was like, where the fuck did they get this name from? Like, I was like, fuck, my phone number from my work phone is connected to my TikTok.
Yeah, the TikTok is a problem.
I got burned for sure.
Yeah, the TikTok is a problem with that.
TikTok is messy as fuck.
It might go away in January. Oh, I think people forgot about the ban. Right.
I think they're going to wake up January 2nd like,
what? Hey, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with that now, but like it technically is supposed to be banned starting in January.
That sucks for
the
people who live off it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
It's such a fun app, though.
I love it.
It puts me to sleep.
It's so stupid.
I'll go lay down and just scroll through the videos and then I'll knock out.
I feel so bad because my dad, in like before the pandemic, like 2019, was like, I think I should start making TikToks, like for about like, cause like he was like, yeah, I can.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, I can like make informative TikToks, and I was like, Dad, that's so dumb. No one's on TikTok. Such a stupid app. I know. I was like, you're gonna embarrass yourself. And then flash forward like 6 months. I was like, you need to get on TikTok. And then he just looked at you. But then night it was like, no, there's like a spot. They're spying on you. And blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. So he could have been like a TikTok.
That whole like TikTok spy on you thing. I'm like, what are they?
Everyone's spying on you. Like, everybody is.
It's like,
TikTok's not special,
right? Oh, Instagram is so fucking.
Yeah, and it's like because like the whole thing is that it's like the Chinese government is like spying, which I don't even know how true that is. It's like propaganda, but I'm like, oh, because the Chinese government is so much worse than Mark Zuckerberg because he's such a good guy.
An angel.
Yeah,
he was born in the USA.
Exactly. You know? I'm just like, oh yeah, he's never done anything bad or shady or like. And they're obviously also selling your data and like doing so. It's once you turn on a cell phone, you're giving it all up.
I just feel like the people who are worried about that probably shouldn't be worried about that.
Right, and like the thing too is it's like with the TikTok ban, it's like the issues with the TikTok. Like the reason why people want to ban it really has nothing to do with like whatever intelligence is out there. It's 100% because they don't want people to be able to communicate on a platform that has had a huge impact on our political landscape in all directions.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
And now they want to cancel it? Like, leave it alone. It's what's happened already. So.
And I think it's like obviously like there's a danger that comes with that, but I think it has also done a lot of like really wonderful things too.
Right.
So
it could be informative. It could be messy. It's like a little bit of everything.
I mean, social media is obviously horrible, but it's also the best.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the best, worst thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's ruining all of our brains, but like in a fun way.
Blame MySpace.
Yeah.
The originators.
Never had a MySpace.
No? That was like, I got in at the end of it.
At the end, okay.
Then I went over to Facebook. When Facebook opened up to like everybody.
Yeah.
Facebook was always boring for me.
I really don't get it. Yeah. But you know, like some people are really...
yeah, like my older aunts.
Yeah. It's like my aunts.
They're going live all the time.
Well, I'm just like... it's like crazy. All of my like older family members.
I forget that my Instagram is linked.
Yeah.
But when I post something, it goes there too. And then I get like, because I always have like different people on here. Right. Or like a girl. They're probably going to ask me like, yo, who's that? And it's like, why are you sitting down? And it's like, my cousins in Mexico just don't understand. It's okay though.
Yeah.
It's just messy.
Yeah.
I live for it though.
I forget about Facebook a lot.
You probably have like a bunch of unread messages and shit.
Oh, I definitely do. I mean, I have unread. I'm really horrible.
There's like a scout in there, some like talent scout. He's like, please reply. I got this movie role for you. And
I like my notifications stress people out. Do you want to know how many? Let's see, how many unopened text messages I have?
That gives me anxiety.
Are you ready for this? 736 unopened text messages.
Why do you do that to yourself? I was gonna say this earlier. I feel like you're a little bit of toxic in you. Like, I like bombing and feeling like there's something about you that.
Yeah, well, you know.
Maybe address that at the next session.
Yeah. It's tomorrow.
Perfect.
So we're right on schedule. Yeah.
Why do you do that? Why do people do
unopened? I used to be. What's crazy?
I can't even see a 1 on any app.
What's crazy is like when I was a teenager, I was like intense about it. Like I would always respond. I was like such a quick responder. And then I would say like honestly probably during COVID is when I got like really bad at responding to people. But like I get so many which sounds like annoying, but it's like I just like work in industries where people are like always trying to hit you up.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, if I don't, either I'll respond immediately or I won't respond. But then it's funny because
do you vet the message? Like, do you at least like check the first line?
Okay, I used to vet.
You just ignore now.
Well, the problem is my phone's like always on do not disturb. So I definitely there are like 10 people that I've excluded from the do not disturb setting. And so this is a good PSA because I think there are people who are probably mad at me for not responding to that.
If you think it's you, it's not.
It's not. There are 10 people that get excluded. And then I'm pretty good at responding to them.
Okay.
I'm not always great, but...
Is she one of them?
Yeah. I respond to most... There are like 5 people I'm like really good about responding to.
Okay.
And then there are a lot of people, it might take a week or 2.
A week? Bro, I'll block you. I don't get a text back and within like a few hours I'm like, oh, I guess we beefing, whatever. Let me go unfollow.
But it's like no one like in my close circle, you know.
Oh, okay. Right.
I think what really happens is like I'll be texting someone back and forth, and then I'll have to go do something else, and then they'll respond, and then I'll forget.
Oh, I get that a lot because of the AD.
Yeah.
that shit hits hard sometimes.
Yeah.
I just learned that like people who have, I don't really know if I have ADHD. I just think I do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That people who have that, they get labeled like bad friends. It's because we forget people exist.
Right.
And unless we see them a lot. Right.
Right.
And I was like, damn, low key, because sometimes I go like weeks without talking to my friends.
Yeah.
And then I'll see them like, oh, I missed you, bro. How you been? You know?
Yeah.
But it's just because I don't see them and I'm busy working. So
right. I'm pretty good at like, I will say I'm good at like maintaining friendships.
I'm gonna bring your friend in right now and we're gonna ask her about that.
We're gonna see.
I'll fight you.
Just a general taller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is taller.
Tall,
yeah.
Your name again?
I'm Karoline Watson.
Very professional.
Yeah,
Karoline
look at the
Watson.
whole thing. First and last. And it's with a K.
Yeah.
The Caroline?
Yeah.
All right, that's what's
So
up.
it's very
With a K.
special.
Caroline Watson. I like that. I wish you had an accent, like a little English accent.
An English accent?
That'd be
Well, I
fire.
grew up in the South.
Oh,
so
did
I
you?
used to have a Southern
Texas.
accent.
You got rid of it?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
I felt like people were
Little Southern Belle?
weren't taking me very seriously, I felt. So I was like, okay, I'll drop it.
Is that a thing? Like Southerns?
Yeah.
Southerns?
Yeah, like George Bush, his whole presidency really relied on the
Didn't want
accent
to
to get out. George Bush destroyed it for us. Yeah, we'll blame him.
Yeah. I mean, I have a total Valley Girl accent, which is
You do.
It's bad.
When you were saying Maine, I was like, she's from Maine?
no.
This accent ain't adding.
I'm so
Yeah.
I'm like so aggressively Southern California.
I would say out of all of our friends, you're probably the most.
Yeah.
Okay. What part of the South are you from?
I'm from Midland, so it's like halfway between El Paso and Dallas and Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My girl's family lives in Plano.
Okay, yeah.
So we go to Dallas.
Yeah.
I
I'm like
Dallas.
Friday Night Lights
Yeah.
area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or Big
Where
Bang
football is
Theory.
in high school football is very important.
Very important.
Right.
It's like almost as important as church there.
Right. And there's churches everywhere.
Everywhere.
You can't turn a corner without feeling guilt.
Yeah.
No, talk
For
about
sure.
waspy.
What is Wasmin? I wasn't.
Oh,
you were saying that earlier. Like,
white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
For sure. Very okay. I got it.
Yeah.
How long you been in San Diego?
Almost about 3 years now.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
But I grew up coming here in the summers. My grandparents used to own a house here, so San Diego is like very familiar.
Oh, that's dope. And how do you know this lovely Samantha, comedian?
Yeah, we met in the comedy.
Wait, are you a comedian
scene.
too?
I'm not a comedian, I'm a producer. So
Okay.
I just am the one who like puts on the show and helps book the people on the show. So like I'll book Samantha.
Right.
Is kind of how that role
Ah,
works.
smart.
Yeah.
You became friends with the plug.
Gotta
you know?
be friends. Yeah, and so we like kind of were in the. I mean, it's a very small, tight knit scene in San Diego in general. Like it's really the same 45 people.
That's a lot, isn't it? Is that enough?
In comparison to other cities,
Right. Oh,
like
okay.
nothing.
No.
I mean, like compared to LA or New York.
Yeah, it doesn't even touch.
I mean, there probably are more than 45 people in the scene, but in terms of like who's like really regularly coming around, it's probably about 50.
Okay.
And so you really get to know each other very well. And then there are very few women in the scene. And so the women in the scene get to know each other fast.
Of the 45, what's the percentage that is just women?
I
That
mean, like
low?
15%, 25%.
maybe
that's pretty
25%
low.
would be generous.
Yeah.
Like a generous estimate.
Damn.
Yeah.
You out here fighting a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You girls up on stage.
We're
and-
trying very hard.
yeah.
How does that work? Do somebody send you like tapes or like tapes? I'm
Kinda.
fucking old as shit. Like their Instagram,
Yeah.
like yo,
No,
peep my
yeah,
comedy?
exactly. So we actually have a little small production company called Area Rug Productions.
Okay.
And so we
Area
run
Rug.
like a monthly show. And then through that, you can either like DM us or we have a website that you can submit stuff on as well.
Yeah.
And so, but we do a lot of reaching out. So it's a lot of like knowing different people in LA and through different connections. Like comedy's so web based.
Yeah, it's very network heavy. And so like for our show, we like definitely try to like really book women or people of color or
That's dope.
queer
Yeah, the queer
comics.
community.
So like really just like
Which are like probably the funniest.
exactly.
There's this comedian. He's a guy. What the fuck is his name? He's fucking hilarious. He's always like on the comics podcast. He's gay. Mateo
Lane.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious.
He's so funny, yeah.
And he's Mexican, so shout out to him.
Gotta represent.
And his man's Mexican, so
perfect.
you know, that's why I'm a little biased supporters.
We love that. But yeah, so that's, and yes, we have a really good partnership there because obviously, like, I am a comic, so there are a lot of people who are comics and producers, but I think it's nice to have a team where it's like I am a comic, I'm in that scene, but then also like Karoline has the more like objective producer.
Yeah,
That's dope.
Because you're not trading me for any spots.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to be on stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
but also you get to sit back and be like, nah.
Yeah, which I do.
You know,
Unfortunately, do a lot
to play
of.
like the politic game of like, no,
Yeah.
I see progress, and you can be like,
Yeah.
you suck, bro. Like,
Yeah,
Pretty much our
kinda.
entire dynamic.
Kind of pretty much how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be like, this person's really trying to get on. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But are you the nice turn down, or do you turn them down and kind of like,
No,
like
yeah.
just keep working
Yeah,
on
we're
your
very
craft?
professional.
No, we're like very professional.
Yeah.
What's nice about our show though is that since it is monthly, we run like a very tight show, so there's not that many spots.
Oh, okay.
So and we book it out far in advance. So generally, when you've asked us, we've already booked out
Yeah.
the show you're asking
That's a
to
good-
get on. So
that's
that's
a
a
good, like-
great.
Yeah.
It's a great excuse.
But yeah, but I will say like there are like a lot of people we still want to book.
Yeah, we like have a big list.
And so it's like I think just balancing, and I think also for our show, like, and I'm sure you with a podcast you get this where it's like we're trying to like do a variety of different people and like not just have the same, like we don't, because like so many shows in San Diego and elsewhere, it's like you'll go to the show, it'll be 6 different white men talking about the same thing for 90 minutes, which is just not that interesting.
Yeah. So our
It's
show's
not gonna be a
completely.
diverse crowd, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So our show, we like really try and only get like one person that fits into like different categories,
Oh.
you know, so
Or like different like styles of comedy.
Yeah.
Even it's like we don't want to like, it's like you would never book like 4 comics who are all like,
storytellers.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah.
so just like trying to keep really balanced lineups.
That's dope. That's smart too. 'Cause it
Yeah.
lets like each one of them have a niche of audience that can
Totally,
go
yeah.
and maybe fucking find a new comic that they like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's dope.
And then it brings in like kind of a different group of people that like
Yeah.
maybe don't typically go to comedy shows, and
Yeah.
then we get to like provide this like first time comedy experience, which is like so fun.
Yeah.
I'm a huge comic fan, but I've hardly ever gone to any shows.
Well, you should.
I went
go.
to Kevin Hart's.
Okay, cool.
I did Felipe Esparza,
Oh,
bigger ones, right?
Yeah.
And then I did Ruiz. He
Yeah,
had
yeah.
headlined at the mic drop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was his first time headline, so we went and checked. Me and my wife went and checked it out. That
Yeah.
was dope though.
Rui's so great.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
we love
amazing.
Rui.
The girl, there was a girl, Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy's
She
great.
was
Wait, she's
there
been on our
too.
show.
She was funny.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
great.
That was the cool, and I was like, damn, I should really like get out here more.
Yeah,
It's like
it's a
really
really
good
good
comics,
scene.
yeah.
Like we're very lucky, I think, in San Diego because like the comedy is very high quality here. We get a lot of like there's a lot of local talent, and then also like a lot of people coming in from LA or San Francisco or
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's
so-
like a lot of different clubs that have like a lot of different personalities.
Yeah.
And then under that, there's like a lot of really good, just like independent, like our show
yeah.
is like an independent run comedy show.
Well, downtown has like 3 of them, right? Like back, like on the same
Yeah,
street.
now
Clubs.
there's 4.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Chris told me, that they were like 5th, 6th, and 7th Street.
Yeah, so yeah, there's Madhouse, which is on 4th, and then Laugh Factory, which is on 5th, and then American Comedy Company, that's on 6th, and then now also on 5th, just down the street, is Yellow Door.
Which is run by the National Lampoon.
Low-key growing then.
Yeah, I think so.
sure.
I mean, it's like the scene kind of ebbs and flows. Like I will say, a lot of San Diego comics moved out this year, like out of San Diego.
They go to Austin.
Yeah, some went to
Yeah,
Austin,
a
some
lot.
went to LA, some went to New
Yeah.
York. So the scene has kind of gotten smaller this year, which is like interesting as a comic. Like there are a lot of opportunities that come with that when like people move. So, but it's a very good scene.
That's dope. What made you want to be a producer in this? Like, do you have like a regular job and then this is like your side project, or is it?
I actually work. Well, this is my side project, but I also work I work at Madhouse as well.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of in the behind the scenes type.
Yeah, and then I just got into it. I worked for a woman privately who opened up a club here, and then through that, she kind of taught me all the production stuff, and I was on her production team. And then from there, I like learned so much great knowledge, and then just took that, and me and Samantha linked up, and so now here we are.
Yeah.
Why haven't you guys started a podcast?
Caroline's so stage fright.
I'm actually very stage fright. I always say I'll never be a comedian because I don't hate myself enough to get up there. And so I know this is very out of the ordinary for me.
Is this like a new thing for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like pep talk, dipping my toes in the water, trying to like represent the brand we're building.
But I do think that like our vision for the companies that eventually we will do podcasting and other.
That's dope.
We love performance art.
Yeah.
So like in any like live performance art too. So like any type of form of that is like
musicians.
Yeah, and I mean,
like that, right?
within our show, like the goal really has been to create like a creative hub for San Diego, because I think there are just like so many different talented creatives. But San Diego has like really big brain drain in the creative space because it's really hard to like afford to live here as an artist, and so you'll see like so many young artists be forced to move out of San Diego to just afford to live. And so
it's pricey.
That's been like a real problem growing up in San Diego, just like knowing that so many of my friends who are creatives like had to move. That's really sad. And so I think for us, like with the show we're doing now, like we don't just have comedy, we also have local vendors, so mostly artists but also food. So we're like really trying to support like the local art infrastructure with the show, and then we also will book musicians
or DJs.
So
that's dope. You guys are like doing it for the critics is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
The only creatives you really see like shining, I guess.
Yeah,
like the ones who have money. You know, like I saw this girl. She's like, "Come apartment hunting with me in San Diego." Like. This one's only $5,700. I was like, only 50.
Oh my god! My heart just like stopped. I was like, oh.
I was watching the video. I was like, bitch, you crazy?
Yeah, that's like, crazy.
You putting this out there? You got people thinking that's good.
That's normal.
Crazy. Yeah,
you're crazy.
I feel like that's just like something that's been really important to me. Like because this is my hometown. Is like I just want to be able to cultivate, because I think San Diego, like we can be honest about it. Like I think San Diego has this reputation of like not being a city for creatives. Like I think people, when they think culture and art, people think LA or San Francisco, and like San Diego is seen as like the military town or like the border town or like conservatives or like surfing,
laid back, like not like,
and people don't think of it as like a place where like creativity is happening, and it's such a place where like there's so many really talented comics and artists and musicians, and you know I think there is so much culture here, especially because it is a border town. Like I think like there's so many,
but I also don't need more people moving here.
Well, I don't need new people coming in. I need people who grew up here to stay. That's what breaks my heart, is like how many people have to leave. And then we get like all of these new biotech people, and I'm like, you can go.
For sure.
We don't need another biotech guy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just me. Whenever I see like creatives on TikTok or Instagram talking about like, oh, come with me to these new restaurants, I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like the locals know where they're at. Shut up.
Yeah. We've all been going there for forever.
Right. Yeah. And it's like this guy is like, oh, come to the best Mexican spot in San Diego. Over here in Oceanside, I was like, bro, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like,
yeah, or it's like they're so far away. Like, you're not even near the San Diego hub. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Anything past the 52, we don't even consider San Diego. Like, let's be, and this, like, you're misleading like outsiders.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because people like move to Oceanside thinking it's San Diego, and it's like, no, babe, you're at the end of North County.
You're 45 minutes away.
Yeah. But down on Oceanside's really glowing up.
It's
really cool.
Yeah.
They have their community for sure.
Yeah. But I think for me, it's like I really, like when I was growing up, I never thought I would live here as an adult. I was always like, I want to go. This isn't for me. Because I wanted to be in a place where I felt like there was more like of an artsy scene. And then realizing as I got older that like it did exist here and it just needed to be like cultivated and nurtured.
I feel like it's spinning. It's starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah.
There's more big artists coming here.
Yeah.
Bringing more light to the city as far as like performance and all that.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Which is really exciting.
And once you're like kind of in it, like I feel like I've just learned so much. Like it just takes a little bit amount of effort like in that direction. And then you like get to see this whole different world of San Diego that you didn't even know existed here. Yeah. And so that's been like super nice.
Yeah. I have a photographer friend. He's starting to do like these bringing photographers together. And I was like, bro, I need that. Like, I was a club rat. My days at the club are done. I want to really start being around more creatives and
it's really inspiring.
Who like the things that I like.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it's cool. Like I have my clubbing friends, like my friends, but I want to be around other people who like the same things.
I think what's been so special about us like producing this show is like we've gotten to meet so many amazing people who are like doing different things than us, but in like parallel settings. So it's like we've met so many amazing musicians, and like we work with this DJ named Atlas, and they're amazing, and like just getting to watch their career and growth at the same time as our career and growth. It's very special.
Nice. So I was gonna ask you, because our texting sucks. How long did it take to break the barrier of like being an one of those 10?
Yeah. I would say it took we started to become friends over at a Halloween party, actually. And then
Or 4th of July.
Oh, that was 4th of July.
Yeah, by Halloween.
By Halloween.
Wrong girl.
I know. I was the one throwing the party, so they get a little mixed in my head. And then I would say Halloween, we kind of like really nailed down that we wanted to do something. Yeah. And then it took till February for us to get a show going. And then I would say since February, I got moved up in the tier of the ranking. Yeah.
Nice.
So only a couple months.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long.
Was it the like the performing thing that like built the bond, or was it something else like, oh shit, we have this in common or anything?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just like being women in such a male dominated industry. Like we just had a lot of like
fuck these dudes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Like the rest of our close friends, exception of like maybe 2 other people in our friend group, are all males. Yeah. And so kind of there like does come a point where you're like, okay, I would be so nice to just like have a chat with a girl, you know, and not like a dude. And so I think we just like gravitated towards each other.
Is there a negative of being, I mean, besides the men get all the shine or more of the open spots, I guess, of being the girl in the scene? Like, do they doubt your comedic?
Oh, yeah.
Do they think, for instance, like, oh, this girl's only popping because her titties are out all the time?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they don't really think you're funny. They just, because you're funny for a girl type.
Yes.
Is that something that happens?
Yeah. I would say it's very hard. It is very hard to be a woman in comedy for a lot of reasons, like ranging from like, it is just like male dominated, everything that comes with that. But there are like, I think that there are a lot of women who are successful, and men will definitely like really talk negatively or like kind of put down their success.
Right.
Yeah, I think like a lot.
An asterisk next to you.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, she only got the opportunity because she's a woman, or like whatever.
That's like
she fucked her way to there or something.
Yeah, it's like a lot of, since there's only like small amounts of spots and people do like some bit try and be diverse, we're like not the only group who's like trying to making effort towards that. I think a lot of times when someone wants something and then a woman gets it, like a man wants something, then it's like, oh, you were just the diversity pick, which it's like, so your act doesn't even speak for itself. It's more like your gender, which is like hard to be a part of.
And God forbid you have like any type of reputation.
Right.
Then it's that. Right?
Yeah, and I think what's hard too is it's like, obviously, like I know there are opportunities I've gotten like because I'm a woman, but like to get to that point of even getting the opportunity takes so much work. But then also it's like you have to put up with so much like bullshit as a woman in this industry that it's like I just have so many women quit. And so I think that's the other thing. It's like, it goes back to that, like, we really want to like cultivate and like make comedy a space where people can like have positive experiences, because I mean, in all honesty, like comedy has like you know, there's a lot of like sexual violence and sexual harassment and like a lot of like bad shit that happens
For sure.
to women in the scene. And so it's like to create a setting where it's like, we know that this is like a place where like you can focus on your art and you don't have to worry about any of the other bullshit, because we're not here, like there's no like power dynamic or like anything like that happening.
Yeah, I think like a good way, I always tell people who like I meet with who aren't in the scene, I'm always remind them like comedy seems very arty and like fun, and it is, but you're also like in the entertainment industry, and so anything that goes along with like any entertainment industry is obviously going to go on like on in comedy, and so you're like jumping through those types of hoops and dynamics.
For sure, because there's gonna be a guy that like finds your comedy good and he's like, I'm in love with her. Now I'm gonna wait for her in the parking lot to, you know, confess my love to her. So there's like all these other aspects that you have to deal with where like the men really don't have to.
Yeah. And like Samantha was saying, like a lot of the times like you're in these bars and comedy has such like a big drinking culture involved in it. And so anytime you're adding any substance in like in a crazy and fun like environment where like you feel like you can say anything, things sometimes can be taken.
Yeah. And I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I think too, it's like it can be like a very like difficult culture, and like it is very competitive. Like I was saying earlier when I was like comedy, like theater is a team sport, you know, because like when you're in a play together, like you are counting on every single person in the room to make you all look good. Like that's the understanding. It's like we are here to make each other look good. And I think up until the show, like when your audition process can get cutthroat, but once you're the cast, you're there to make each other look good. It's a team. Not that teams can't have competitions in them, but comedy, you're an individual. You're not there to make anyone else look good. You're there to make yourself look good. And so it is a very cutthroat industry. It is a very like people get very, even with friends, especially with friends, it gets very, very cutthroat.
Really?
And so it's
like hate amongst each other.
You're fighting over venues. You're fighting over why haven't you booked me? You had this opportunity. Why do you prop up this person and not this person? You know, like it gets very, because everyone's hungry.
Is there like a little bit of because you're her friend? Like, do you get like, she's only giving Samantha spots because that's her homegirl or that's her friend, and like she'll get the pick before she's gonna get the pick before anybody else off the strength of their friendship?
I think I'm just now, other than our show, the area rug show that we run, I am just now like getting into a position to where like kind of have some bit of that power. And I've kept it very low key. So not as of yet. I don't think people have been upset. I mean, it is nice to be able to like help your friends out. I do try and keep an even like scale. I like feel like we have like a lot of really close friends within like the industry itself. So Samantha definitely is high up on the list, but there's also like a good chunk of people who I try and rotate through.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky because, for instance, I'm a big sneaker guy. And before like online shopping, you used to have to go to the store. And even then, most of the pairs, I'm talking about like special releases, right? Like Jordans or whatever. You would have to know somebody in there to guarantee a pair.
Right.
Because, you know, it's first come bullshit.
Yeah.
And there's people, for instance, I had a plug. But there was people who didn't, and they would hate and say shit. And it's like, if you had a plug, you wouldn't say shit.
Exactly.
Right. You're just not cool enough to have a plug. And you don't want to accept this, you know, like, so you got to hate. But even like now when I know somebody who has a plug, I don't get mad. Like, of course, like,
right.
Like you worked for that plug, man. Like, you did what you rubbed the right elbows and now you're there. So I feel like they shouldn't be mad. Like you should have done the networking.
Right.
I do believe that to be very true. I think like the best way to get on any show is to go to the show, to help out at the show, and like all those types of things. Like to me, as someone who like you aren't giving me time, that stuff is like very important and very noticeable. So like if you're always around, always helping out, giving suggestions, liking, commenting, you know, we're gonna get you in the rotation probably faster than we would someone who's like never showed up.
It's just people who have entitlement. Like, I'm a comic. I deserve. Like, I think I'm better. Of course, everybody has like that arrogance, right? Like, I'm good, you know. So I'm better than that person. Why can't I? Well, it's because you're not networking. You're not taking the right steps, and
it is. I think it is hard. I mean, comedy is like really, it's an interesting industry because it's like, again, it's happening at a bar. Yeah. And you're like drinking and you're becoming friends and it's this like weird thing that you're bonding over, but it's also a business. And so it's like, I think a lot of people get caught up in the like social part of it and then forget the business side of it where it's like, you think I'm gonna, like, it's like when you're making choices as a business about who you're going to be like putting on stage, like you think you like play the tape back on the social interactions and you're like, if you didn't treat me well when we were like hanging out, like I'm not going to forget about that when it comes time to like book you.
Yeah. It's like if they came up to like, I want to talk to your boss. Like, you're nobody. Yeah. And then it comes to like booking time. It's like, you remember you said I was nobody?
Yeah. Like, it's like, there's not really we don't have a manager we're like adhering to make sure that like necessarily we're playing exactly by like the fairest rules for everyone. But no one has that, I guess, unless you're in a club and they're very strict, but then the club owner is just like that dictator essentially. So I think like people get caught up in thinking like, oh, we're just friends, not realizing that like, we're friends. We're like comedy friends. Like we're industry friends, you know? So like you can't be too crazy because then I don't want to put my name on you when you go up there and you bomb, you know, because that's my name too. Not only is it yours, and you may be okay with that, you know, but I'm not okay with that.
But there's people like that, and I hate, like, it's like when you refer somebody to a job, like you're putting like,
you're putting your name on the line. It's the same
like thing. I'm vouching for them, and then they come in and like quit the next day, and you're like, hey, yo. It's like,
it hurts your name.
How am I affecting you? It's like, you are, like, you just don't know.
It's my reputation too. Yeah, and I think for us, it's like we're trying really to like build something real and like build something that like we're proud of. And so I think that we do protect it. We do.
As you should.
Put a lot of time into it.
Especially because you're working for it. It's not like nobody gave it to you and it's like.
No, we've had our hand in from the very bottom.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into, like, just because you enjoyed, like?
Yeah, my dad was really into stand-up when I was a kid. And so I just like grew up listening to stuff being played. I mean, I grew up in Midland, so big. I mean, now comedians now there are going out
Texas
there,
big for,
but before like they weren't. And so like just grew up like watching Netflix specials and stuff like that. And then when I got this, I just saw the job on Indeed in Phoenix, and I was like, oh, this is everything I would want and more. And then I learned a lot and ended up loving it. And so I've like been in the service industry for forever, and so I really enjoy like the bar scene dynamic. And so it's like you work hard, you play hard kind of it's mantra for me. So
you get to meet the right people.
So it's been like fun to do that, and then like have the whole creative aspect in it as well, because just partying in the club gets boring. As you said.
After a while.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay. I've heard this since 1,000 times, you know? Like, I'm like, I'm good, you know?
I used to be a club promoter.
Okay.
And a lot of people were like, are you drinking? So then, like, I would go to my favorite bartender and be like, just give me a Shirley Temple. Make it look like a drink. So I'd be walking around and like, oh, are you drinking now? Yeah, I got my, you know, like, but I'm sober. And it just becomes, you get tired of it. I used to say, it's like, bro, they're like, do you like it? I was like, sometimes, bro, it's honestly the same women in different dresses. Like, it's the same people. They just change an outfit. And it's like, it kind of gets boring after a while, but you got to find, I was big on networking. So
it's the same.
I'd go to different, be like, yo, I got you here. Let me, you know, so I was always trying to just move and not be bored if I had to be there. You lived in Phoenix too?
For like 8 months. I moved there after I graduated from college in New Orleans.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you went from one hot to another hot.
Yeah.
Did you like Phoenix?
No, hated it.
Really?
Yeah. It was like so boring, I thought. Really? I also really didn't like the people. It felt like a bunch of people who couldn't make it in LA. And then we're like, oh, I'll move to Phoenix. And then we're like, we're hot shit. And I was just kind of like, ugh.
Like
it
a
like
big
wasn't
fish
my
in a small pond.
yeah, it wasn't like my pony
Right.
race. I didn't like love that dynamic.
And you said, I'm going to San Diego.
Yeah, and then I was like,
Major upgrade.
yeah, I was like, yeah.
But you've been out here before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like knew what was here, and this was like definitely, unlike Samantha, I saw myself more here for sure.
Right.
Like always, like it was kind of like a goal to get back. I love the ocean, so
Overall,
yeah.
I was gonna ask, when you moved, being away, did you appreciate San Diego more?
Yes.
That same happened to me.
Yeah.
I used to be like, man, this city sucks. Like,
Yeah, no,
was
literally.
it boring? Then I moved and I was like, man, I miss San Diego.
That was literally me. Where I was
How
like,
dare I speak ill of San Diego? I didn't even get offended or like San Diego. I was like, what? You better
it's so easy to take it for granted. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. It's so easy to take San Diego for granted
Sure.
because it is very like chill and laid back. It's not flashy. I think in like the way other cities are, it is just like the best part about San Diego is that it's just like so lovely 365 days a year.
It really is.
And it's like really you don't appreciate that when you're young.
Here.
Yeah, or when you're here.
Yeah, like flying back in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Such a
landing in the
beautiful
airport.
year.
You're like,
Gorgeous.
okay,
It's
yeah.
so easy to take it for, like I literally every single day driving to school would see the ocean every single day, and then you like just take it for granted.
Like if you drive around downtown in the day, you see like the tourists and you're
Yeah.
like, psst, I live here.
Yeah.
Like this fucking honor we have. We're like,
but it's like now I know how nice it is. You know,
For
I think
sure.
I think also it is like a much cooler place when you're an adult than a kid.
Yeah.
There's just more to do.
I like it. Like I don't really like LA like at all. And I think just because LA, everybody wants to be somebody, even if
Yeah.
they're not somebody. You know what I mean? Like they still have to put on this like facade.
Totally.
Where here in San Diego, I feel like everybody's just kind of like, yo, this is just what it is. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very. People are so casual and
Right.
chill, laid back.
I mean, there is
Which I like.
the corners, right, of like the fake, you know, like
Yeah.
of the people who want to be like, oh, I'm a big shot or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think the majority of San Diego is either like
Yeah.
military, you could tell who are military right
Oh,
away.
Oh,
So
you know
quick.
a military
Like,
boy walking down
You're
the
like,
street
if they
before
have a clean
anyone else.
haircut.
Literally.
Yeah.
They got like a couple tats. They're
you
like,
can always
you know.
tell. Like, I
It's
was-
like the specific shirt.
Yeah, they're wearing that shirt.
Yeah, one shirt.
The short sleeve.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
you could tell. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
there's a lot of military here.
Yeah,
in this building,
yeah.
right? And I was telling my wife, I was like you could tell a white dude from California and then a white dude who's in the military.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
So different.
night and day.
It's
like,
so
different.
different.
they're easy to spot. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they're like tense.
yeah. You
And
can tell,
like people in San Diego are so like chill, and then they're like the
Like,
military
you can
guys
tell
are just
they-
running around like tense.
Not smoked any weed in so long. You know what I'm saying? As where everyone else is so high all the time.
they start smoking a cigarette, I'm like, yeah, you're probably not from here.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
The thing is, I love San Diego, so
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I'm glad you made your move out here.
Yeah.
For
Me too.
Yeah.
I like couldn't imagine. I would move back to New Orleans, but I think that's the only place I've lived that I would move back to.
Isn't it hot and humid out there?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
For real.
Yeah.
We should
I'm
go
a
from
big boy. I don't
Texas.
fuck.
Yeah, I came from Texas. Yeah, the culture out there is just like
Oh, it's
so
beautiful.
amazing and
For
beautiful and like very friendly. And
Oh,
so yeah,
very polite and shit.
yeah,
Southern hospitality.
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Usually when I think Southern Hospital, I think like Georgia,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
It's
or
just
something.
far enough from Texas, I think, to be considered like Southern hospitality.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where Texas is more like, I don't know, they have their own culture in and of
Yeah.
themselves.
That state in general, special.
Yeah.
There's a lot
It's
going
got a
Although
lot of
very friendly.
issues. Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
I've
Friendly,
never been
yeah.
to Texas.
No.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never been to Austin? No. Interesting.
What, you haven't been to the mothership? No, I'm sorry.
Like, could take a leave.
Yeah. You would like the city of Austin.
I heard Austin is like the closest thing to California in Texas.
Yeah, it's like fair. I went to school there for a
Okay.
bit. It's like very progressive.
Right.
And very blue city. And also very, very fun and great food.
Right.
I actually liked living in Austin. It's too overpopulated now. Like the city was overpopulated when I was there. And that was like
crazy
in
with some celebrities can do.
2017 and stuff.
Yeah.
But they just like the infrastructure is not made for all those people.
Texas infrastructure in general is just like not prepared for what's to come.
No.
Right.
So
the snow's gonna ruin them.
The what?
The snow. They're
The
not
snow?
ready. They're not ready.
They're not. What was that? 2020.
Yeah.
There was like no water and all that.
Yeah.
I know
Like all their pipes froze.
my parents were like freaking out about my grandparents.
Yeah.
Because there's no like state run electricity or
Right.
That was the issue.
I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
Is that a global warming?
Probably.
Climate change?
Yeah. Climate change. Yeah.
If you don't believe in it,
Yeah. Then you just think it's the
you can't get the
seasons.
information and
Yeah.
ignore it. There's usually consequences. So.
Yeah, of course.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many shows do you do a month, a week?
Yeah, we do. We have been doing a monthly show at a venue called Studio Casually.
Where's that at?
It's downtown in East Village.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, you were saying it's like a photography studio?
Yeah, it's a photography studio and event space, and they're amazing to work with. We love all of that.
And that's close enough where it's central to like what's popping.
Yeah.
Where like mic drop is all the way in Claremont. Like,
yeah, it's really far.
It's far.
It's far. Yeah. It's like, and they're just so great. They're so great to work with. We love working with Kate, who's the owner. She's just like very, like our missions are very similar.
That's dope.
They're trying to really uplift the same creative scene that we are. And then we're very excited this month. We're doing our first show at the Wonder Museum.
Where's that at?
It's in Gotham.
Oh, in the Gotham? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it closer to the water?
Yeah, it's like kind of closer to the water.
It's right next to Shout House.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On 4th or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like y'all gonna do big things.
Yeah, we're really excited.
That's so dope.
Yeah,
we have some big things coming in the new year.
That should be like an all-woman show.
We have.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. We try and do that and then get like, the mixes in as well.
Yeah.
Because women can be funny too.
Yes, women can be very funny.
I feel like listening to all these like comics who have podcasts, they always like say like women aren't funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they are always saying that.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Very fucked up.
But I think that there is, like, I think that we kind of, like, devalue, like, women's sense of humor. Because I do think that there are, like, I think it's the same thing, right? It's, like, there are a lot of, like, male comedians who I think are, like, literally not funny at all. But then, like, a lot of men, like, worship them. We don't need to name names. But the city of Austin might ring a bell. And I think it's just, like, comedy is an art form like any other art form, like music, where it's like people, it's not objective. Like there are people that are gonna gravitate towards like one person's style over another person's style, which I think is like really cool. It's like there are a lot of comics where I'm like, I literally like this does nothing for me, but I think it's awesome that does something for people. And I think from like, I know my comedy is not for everybody. Same. So I think in terms of that, but like
it's kind of like music. Not everybody
it's literally like music
shit,
where it's like everyone you have your like you have your sense of humor, you have your taste in music, and like I think it's cool. And I think what's cool about the San Diego scene really is like there's something for everybody,
The Austin you were talking about,
I
always think for being a comedian, he has never been funny on his own podcast.
Oh yeah.
It's
I'm not trying to make enemies.
I was like, how have
like,
I
which
never
one are you talking about?
I've never cracked a chuckle.
I mean,
any of your
he's
episodes,
not really a
bro.
comic.
Like, how are you fucking a comedian, bro? Like,
I mean, and he's like not.
Yeah.
Right, we're talking about,
Yeah.
You're right.
But I mean, I think that like, but that's good that people love that. You know what I mean? Like,
even then, like, is that a red flag if a guy told you like, oh, I love his podcast, or
for me personally,
it would like make me take pause for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, it's not my favorite.
No, but I'm single and it's rough out here, so maybe I would ask a couple follow-up questions. post initial tell.
Like that's like a sneak around to finding out somebody's personality these days.
Yeah,
like, what podcast do you listen to?
Oh, no, 100%.
I love Joe Rogan. You're all like,
and like Interesting.
All right.
You're like, cool. We know where we're going from here.
Like, and I love that for you.
Yeah. And then we're like, okay, you're what branch of military?
Yeah.
What does your
That's the hard part about dating in San Diego. It's like
it's a lot of military.
Yeah. Everybody says that, and maybe because I didn't grow up near military.
Yeah.
I don't I was just like, for real, people consider this a military town? Like, I understand that the military is here, but
Right.
I didn't grow up near, like, where I grew up, there was no military housing. So I wasn't around it for me to be like, oh yeah, there's a grip of military. But in the dating scene, I'm sure
Yeah.
and they all cheat, so.
Yeah. Or they're like ready to get married and
the
like
money,
for the
bennies,
for the benefits, and like have a kid immediately. And you're like, you know, like I'm like, whoa.
Slow down.
Second date, like, we're meeting moms and we need to get you pregnant.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's kind of crazy.
It's really crazy.
I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know that I could do it. I've never dated anyone in the military.
I was gonna ask, is your boyfriend in the military? No.
I don't think that would go well if he was. I like could not imagine. Could you imagine?
No.
They do adopt like a mindset.
Yeah, they do really do.
It's very like.
It's regimented.
They all agree on the same things, and it's like from all over, and you guys all think.
Yeah,
you do meet like such a. What's interesting about San Diego though is like you do meet such a range. Like I'm always meeting people where I'm like shocked when I find out that they're in the military, because there are a lot of people who like just do it to get school paid for, and I'm like I get that. Like
I think it's the people who are still in is who you can really tell, and then the people who are out like on benefits, it's like completely a different culture.
Honestly, that's smart to
I
date.
never even thought about that.
And it's smart to date someone who is out on benefits.
They have a house and no debt.
Yeah.
And that's like a win.
The ones that like came to San Diego was like, I'm gonna just stay here.
Yeah.
Or like finished here and then like
they do like
bought their house
do their
here.
5 years,
Yeah. Because that's the only way any of us are ever
really gotta
owning
break
a house.
down dating in San Diego.
It's like
do you attract a lot of military dudes?
I don't know if I would say I attract a lot of military dudes.
Specifically.
No, I'm more like broken comedians. Comedians
nice.
love me.
Yeah, that's just who you're
course.
around.
But that's also who I'm around because we're like, you know, in that I'm at a.
It's like a work wife type thing. Like you see them enough, you're like.
Yeah, like I'm at the club, the comedy club, Thursday through Sunday. It's sometimes Wednesday. So I'm like, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Comedians, they're cool. I mean, they have their issues like any of us. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I would ever date a comedian.
No,
I've been there, done that.
You don't want to be a joke one day or something?
No, and I have been jokes, and that's fine.
Somebody's made a joke about you?
Oh yeah.
Direct or like indirect? Like, oh, I dated this one chick.
Like, oh, I dated this one chick, or like, oh, my girlfriend who's sitting in the audience.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, always an experience. I don't know. That type of stuff doesn't bother me. I think just like.
Because you get the business.
Yeah, because I understand the business, but there's like so much that like, it's hard to work with someone and live with someone, and you're both fighting for the same things. And so like, Samantha and the way that they can do it like so healthy and nice is like crazy, because it normally doesn't work out that way.
Is he a comedian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, it might be rough where he's kind of like, maybe he's having like down moments, and then you're kind of rising. And
Yeah.
It's just that whole like, we're in the same industry.
Yeah.
In the same city, you know. And,
I think it's just like helpful because we're in such different.
Oh, he
Yeah.
the comedian? I was gonna ask you something about the whole, but you brought it up like dating somebody in the same industry.
Oh,
tough.
yeah, that's really tough. And then, just like that whole dynamic. And then if things don't work out, you like have to do that whole thing. And then everyone's in your business as well. And so that's like another thing. And so,
my question was gonna be, since you have a boyfriend, is there like that conversation like, hey, like I know it's jokes, but don't include our personal life in your comedy? Because
not really.
Because it can be funny, but it's like at the expense of your partner. You know what I'm saying?
Totally,
like,
yeah. I mean, I think that like we just like, it's very like understood that there's like a character and like a separation.
Okay.
Piece. So it's like I wouldn't take things like I would never take things personally, and like I think like we're pretty good about like running things by each other if we think there might be like a line crossed or whatever.
Cool.
But in general, like we don't talk about each other that much on stage. Like just like a little bit.
Okay, because I had that when I first started. Like I'd crack jokes.
Yeah,
because I crack jokes with my wife. Like we roast each other or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I thought I could bring that here, and then there was a couple instances where she's like, "Hey, no. Like these people don't know me."
Yeah,
and you're like cracking jokes. They may feel they may think it's okay to disrespect or whatever. And I was like, "Damn, you're right. I didn't even think about it."
Yeah.
So now it's more. The only light I want is a good light on her.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, like, well, I would say comedians and then people in the industry, like their line of what they're like willing to take is like much farther because you're in like a very bit slap happy kind of environment. And so people are like constantly roasting each other. But I will admit there have been people who I've watched get on stage and I know they're girlfriends. And the way that they're speaking about their girlfriend, I
like really not
wouldn't have never allowed to like happen about me. But like if they're fine with that line, then that's their line that they've like developed with them, and they can just take a joke a hell of a lot more than I can.
There are like a lot of comics who won't bring their girlfriends around, and then we'll talk about their girlfriends horribly on stage. And I hate
and that's also another dynamic.
I don't like that. Like in general, just because
it's like so messed up.
You can't give anybody the opportunity to disrespect your girl because you did it in public,
right?
So then they can feel like, oh, your bitch is lazy. You said it on stage, and it's like, you call what my what?
Yeah,
what?
Literally.
You tripping?
And it's also just like it's not that funny. Like it's always like kind of like
it's cringe, right? Like,
yeah, it's like really cringe.
You can tell when someone's saying something that like is actually funny and like is part of a bit, and then you can tell when people are it's just like being mean and nasty.
Yeah,
there's like difference. There's normally like a punchline, and so then like you generally aren't the punchline if the joke is actually funny.
Sounds like something that just happened to a famous comedian.
Was
trying to be funny in the wrong space.
Yeah. And that joke is a joke that's been told 1,000 times and as old as time. So the fact that he opened with that is wild, in my opinion. But to each his own.
But it's like it's hard. I think like with comedy, it's like you never know. You like something that's cool about comedy and also scary is like you never know how a joke is gonna land. You can do a joke 100 times and then have one time it be received poorly, or you could do
that person will be having a bad day.
Yeah, or it's like I have jokes where it's like this is the joke that always does amazing, and then it'll like be silent. Like last night. Was like such a weird show where it's just like the audience was giving me literally nothing, and it was like jokes that like usually like would at least get like something, and it was just like they just were tired.
Yeah, like the show that we were on last night, or that I was working and she was on, was like everyone bombed. Like hardly anyone did well. Yeah, and there was like
a couple people, but
except for like a couple people, but like everyone on the lineup was like a really like.
It was a good lineup. Like it wasn't
good lineup, and there was like a full audience. Just sometimes people are like,
you never know how it's gonna land, and so I think that's like the beauty of live performance. That's what I like about performing live instead of just like on a TikTok clip or something. It's like you get immediate feedback one way or the other, and there's something like really cool in that. It's like I've been like heckled, and that's horrible sometimes, but it's like it's still like there's something like incredible about just like the power of human connection, and like we're experiencing this together.
The heckling, was it like them making fun of you or just being like
I've had everything. I've had people like, I mean, I do a joke about abortion, and I had someone like be like, abortion is a murder, and walk out in the middle of my set, which was like,
they said it's not
they're like, abortion is murder, and then like we're like really pissed, and then left.
That's cool. Props to you that you're like testing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Yeah.
But I feel like you're going to go see comedians. Like,
people aren't ready for that.
You know, dark humor.
And like I talk about it's interesting. Like I talk about like I would say like I'm not even that dark. Like my comedy's really not that dark. My comedy's really not even that dirty. But I think that like, there are things that I talk about that if I were a man, people would not have a problem with me talking about. But because I'm this like petite woman that like people think it's gonna be sweet. Like sometimes that people don't like I have a joke about like periods, and people hate that. People hate me talking about like period blood. I don't know why. It's like not, to me it's not that gross.
Right.
People like,
you experience that.
People get like grossed out by it. And often it's women that get grossed out by it, not even men. Real? Like I was doing a show actually in Chula Vista, and there was like a group of like older like Mexican women, and they like were so uncomfortable with me talking about period blood.
Damn.
They hated it. And I was like, I guess it's just like because maybe
that might
like,
be culture though.
Well, it's just like taboo to talk about.
Right.
Like they would never feel comfortable talking about it. So they don't.
But even then, like you hear it and you're like, oh my God, I agree. Like I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to say that, but I didn't have the balls to say
Right.
it.
And I think that's like normally how it's received, but it's just like interesting. You never like know. I mean, I did a tour in Arizona and I was really nervous because I'm like, I would say like pretty, like I'm like pretty progressive and like my comedy, I'm not shy about like talking about politics or like culture stuff. So it's like, I was like, fuck, like I'm going in Arizona. I don't know how this is going to go. Yeah. Like I do a lot of material about being bi. Like I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to go. And like some of the cities were like more liberal than others, but it was just like, it was interesting to like see like how people, and I did a show in the city called like Havasu, which is like very Trump.
Oh, okay.
And like
the whole state, isn't it? Like, maybe Phoenix or not?
Yeah, I mean like they're pockets, but it's like this city, I think the best way to capture it is 2 like doors down from the show venue was a gun themed coffee shop. Which is like crazy. Right. And so, but that's so like, I was like, I'm just gonna dress this like gun themed coffee shop. I'm gonna win them on my side by pretending I like this gun themed coffee shop. And I was like doing this bit. I was like, yeah, like I saw you guys have a gun themed coffee shop. Like, what's up with that place? And over there, like, woo. And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I live in North Park, this place called North Park in San Diego. We have a dog themed coffee shop. I'm like, what if we combine that? They didn't like that. They thought I was saying we should shoot dogs.
What a reach, huh?
And I was like, wait, okay, we're okay with shooting people, but like a dog, step too far.
We draw the line of talk.
But yeah, it was kind of funny. But then I won that back. But like which is funny. It's like when I'm performing in a conservative room, my strategy is I'll just do my dirtiest jokes. Like I will just do cum joke after cum joke after cum joke because they are fine with that. But then I'm like, but I won't do.
They're like, oh, come, and then you're like, oh, this politics are all like, whoa, Missy.
But then it's like I won't, it's like I wouldn't even try in that room. I was like, it's not happening. But then it's funny because like after the show, some people came up to me, they're like, we loved you, like you were so like we love, like you just were like so dirty and blah blah blah. And like we know you probably want to be dirtier, but it's like a conservative crowd. And I was like, no, I never want. Oh, I didn't say that. I was like, oh yeah, thank you so much. Like, but I'm like, I don't actually like that's not like I don't like doing 13-year-old boy jokes. But like when you're in a room of people like that, sometimes you just like you gotta lean back on your like 13-year-old boy jokes.
Move into the crowd that you're
but that's what it makes you a better comic. Like obviously, like I've been really fortunate to be able to like travel a lot this year doing comedy, and it's like I love like I did a show in Berkeley. I was like, this is great. I would love to do this every night. But obviously, if you're performing in like Berkeley, California, you're not really, and that's the only room you're doing, like you're not really getting better.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, I know that my jokes are going to like crush in a room of people exactly like me, obviously. But it's like the shows that really like make you better. The shows like obviously where I was like so fish out of water. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to grow and be able to move, like adjust to the crowds and stuff, adapt to like wherever you are for sure. You have to take those L's sometimes. Yeah. For sure. And that's a tough part, man. All that traveling, is that like on your dime or do these?
So it just like depends. I was like I'm lucky that a lot of it actually isn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah. Very cool.
You don't have to pay to go do what you love, and maybe make some money on it too.
Sometimes, yeah.
That's fire. Really cool, dope.
Yeah.
You plan on one day going full?
I mean, I would love to. Yeah. I think if like the opportunity ever presented itself, I just like would have to like, I love stability. Oh. And so like, I would love to be on the road, but I'm like, I would never like create like, I'm not the girly who's gonna like grind and live in my car and like hope for the best. Like that's not.
You like luxuries.
Yeah, I'm like I like nice things. So like I'm probably like I would only like make the jump when I felt like that was like financially feasible. But it's like definitely like a long-term vision to be able to do
like that. The purists would be like, no, you have to experience.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people live in a van, and I love that. I love that for them, and like. Genuinely like that's great that's like that works for people, but I'm like I can't.
I have this like dream of like living in a tiny house.
I'm so
the
claustrophobic.
idea of it, I was like, oh, it's so fucking dope, babe. Let's do it. She's like, I have a shitload of shoes. She's like, where the fuck you gonna put your shoes? I was like, she's like, where you gonna do the podcast? And I was like, are you being a Debbie Downer? Like, I was kind of hoping some like encouraging, like, yes, babe. She's like, no, get out of here. We're not doing that shit.
She's like, and then we're like divorced a month into living in this place.
Snaps me back. I'm like, damn.
I like space.
Yes, exactly.
I like my space.
This is very healthy.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just like this, like, oh, how cool would it be just to live in a tiny house? Like, you get up, your kitchen's right here. And then she's like, you would hate it. You would hate it so fast. And I was like, you're probably right.
I've never once wanted that.
I used to want to live in a van for sure. I have like a bunch of van knowledge. I have a bunch. Yeah, like I'm the grinded out live in the van girl, and Samantha is the have the nice cushy job girl.
But doesn't that sound cool? Like the people that live that van life, you're like, damn, all right. I think
logistically that's like a nightmare to me. Well, I think like
your office can be anywhere.
No,
sounds kind of fun.
So cool.
Yeah.
I also used to want to live on a sailboat. I would still do that, like a catamaran.
That's so crazy.
No, there's sharks in there. No.
See, that
there's
doesn't
sharks.
bother.
You love the ocean.
Yeah, I like the ocean.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine living on a boat. I just like really. This is when I have OCD.
Oh.
Bad, and like I couldn't.
That'd be a nightmare.
I can't do. I'm like, oh my god.
I won't even want to cruise because I can't leave when I want to leave.
Oh, I can't do a cruise. That would be horrible. No. I think I would have a full
mental breakdown. That thing is so big you don't even realize you're on the water.
No, but it's not even because of the water. I'm like, you're trapped. You're trapped. Exactly. You're trapped.
I need freedom. I need to be like, all right, I want to go home now. Now.
Yeah.
I want to go home now. And it's like, well, we don't dock for 3 days. And it's like, no, helicopter me out of here. Get the foot.
I need to be able to like walk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like.
Yeah. I'm pretty easygoing, I think.
You really are. It's
I'm like down for whatever.
What's happening? What's going on, fellas?
I'm just like the most uptight. I'm just like,
yeah.
Are you sorry? Like, are you like a like? Do you like luxury brands or like? What would you say is your red flag?
What's my what's my red flag? You want to tell people what my red flag is?
I mean, there are a couple.
Okay, that's a good exercise. Okay, what would you say is just one? You don't have to like you don't have to pull out the list in your pocket.
What to pick? I think
I can name one, and you can name one
of you.
Yeah.
Okay. My red flag of Karoline is that she doesn't know what she wants.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think is a red flag.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No idea.
I'm no clue.
Vibing.
You're just going with the vibes.
Yeah.
I love that though.
And then I would say I like to party.
Yeah.
I like to party. So
that's like fun though.
Yeah, but
guys
not all the time. Yeah. And then when I'm like, no, I'm going to this thing, and you're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, no, I'm going.
Right.
And I'll probably have a good time. Yeah. And then you'll be mad when I get home.
Asking for permission.
Yeah. I was telling you. Yeah.
I had this video, one of my reels go, I don't know, viral, 230,000.
Yeah, viral.
TikTok.
Very viral. Yeah.
There's this girl saying, she's like, my worst fear is to have a man who, in Spanish it's called amargado, but it's somebody bitter. And, and she was just saying, like, I would hate to be at a party and they're just sitting in the corner, like, you know, ugly ass face, just mad at the partying, mad that I'm having fun. And the comments were crazy. These dudes, for some reason, think they were talking to them. They were like, oh, I guess I'm this. And like, what? I can't just chill. And it's like, you guys have missed the whole point. Like,
she didn't say your name.
She was saying, like, the guy who hates to see other people having fun.
Yeah.
And so they make a stank face so that everybody knows that they're not
having a
happy.
bad time. Yeah.
That's what she meant. These guys just took it personal. And the comments blew up. And I was just like, you guys are weird.
Insecurity at its finest. You have to be insecure to sit in the room
Her
like that.
dogs holler.
And then,
and those guys were fucking hollering.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing. Like, you're gonna run into guys that are like, oh, you really have to party again?
Yeah.
So
or
you
like,
really have to find somebody who like matches your vibe, and it's like,
but it's hard because it's like you don't want to be with someone who parties too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to.
Yeah, because then you're both like,
you need someone to ground you.
Yeah.
I just think it's, how old are you? Sorry,
I'm 25.
It's just it's like a not a phase, but it's just a part of your life. Like,
it's
like
an era.
I used to party a lot, and my wife used to party a lot. That's how we met.
Yeah.
So it's naturally that we just like party, and then we finally, now we're at the point where like Friday night was like, oh, we get to be at home, throwing a fucking movie in our slippers. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just part of life. It's you kind of just evolve into like a homebody.
Yeah.
Because you've partied out.
Yeah.
It's just a process.
I think you'll never party out.
I have been going strong for a bit. I mean, there wasn't a lot to do in Midland, so you can imagine I started drinking pretty early.
I just like Europe, but like in a good way. Like I feel like
I really do love the comedy industry. A lot of the fact of because like it is so much fun, like in and of itself.
And it's good to have fun.
It is like a very work hard, play hard environment.
Definitely have to date somebody who's secure.
Yeah, I mean, I will say to date someone in comedy, period, like to be a female comic or to be like a woman in the comedy industry, really your partner has to be very secure,
so secure,
and secure not just because of like the jealousy of like other people, but it's like you're a high achieving person, you're working hard, and like
you're out there.
If you're dating, like you could be dating someone who's like insecure and like threatened by your success,
exactly,
and it's like, well, that's not gonna work.
Or it could be like, even in like your situation, like they're like, oh, it's a cute little hobby. I'll support it.
Yeah.
And then you blow up and they're just like, now it's an issue.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But because they didn't have the vision you have. Right. Your vision's big. Theirs is just like, oh, she's just it's a part-time thing.
Or I've like run into things where I'm like, I have to go to the show because I have to go watch these 3 dudes because I'm like interested in seeing their set because I'm probably gonna book them, and then the person's like, you're doing what?
Yeah.
In
his head here is like, oh, I'm about to go, have a threesome, and he's like, what?
No, not at all.
And that is the benefit of dating in the industry. It's like they get it.
They understand it. So like in Samantha's case, like, and in times when I've dated comedians, I like have been like asleep, and then they're like, hey, I'm sorry, I just got booked this gig. Like, I'm gonna leave right now, and I've like been asleep for 30 minutes, and they're like leaving the house and coming back whenever they're done doing their set. Yeah. And that's like how comedy works, like, and you have to be okay.
That's happening. Yeah.
I think it just in general, just people who are shitty are gonna do shitty things regardless. Like they're gonna have the perfect cover, or you wouldn't know, or they're just gonna be open about it. Just people who suck and like they're gonna find ways to suck. You know what I mean? Like so I've always been like trust, kind of like, I don't know, in school, your teacher's like, look, you have an A with me. It's your job to keep it. That's how I'm with my trust. You have my trust. Now keep it. Maintain your trust, because once you break it, you did that. I didn't. I'm not making you earn my trust. You have it.
Right.
Now, it's your job to fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like a great place to be in.
Right.
Yeah. That you're like, you proved to me that you're untrustworthy. Yeah. I'll take your lead.
Oh, you ain't shit.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like, it's been interesting. Like, I think I really like dating someone who gets it. But I think like I'm just very lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's always the exceptions.
I mean, we love that. We've watched a lot of couples break up.
Yeah,
we've watched a lot of comedy couples break up.
Is there kind of like there's this like thing about nursing, or like nurses and hoes, like they fuck each other? Is that a thing like in the comedy?
I think it's just like your comedy takes up so much time.
Okay.
Like you're at a bar every single night performing, right? Or a club, bar or club,
of the opposite or the same sex,
right? And
drinking.
It's just like I couldn't even imagine dating as a single person, as a single woman comic. Like how do you explain like, oh, I know we have a date planned on Friday. I know it's Friday right now. I just got asked to host this weekend at a club.
Right.
Sorry, we have to change our entire plans. And it's like in my current dynamic, like that's completely understood. You don't have to explain.
Right.
It's like, of course, like go. That's amazing. And I just think I could not imagine someone outside of the industry like getting that.
And that goes to different levels. Like that can be like, oh, I got this really big gig, but it's your like best friend's wedding. Well, I would rather do the gig than go to your best friend's wedding. Like it goes to like varying degrees. Like if they're like any comedian I've dated for their birthday, we're always at a club. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they want to do is like get up and do time on their birthday. Like you're not doing like travel trips, stuff like that. Or your birthday, you're spending your birthday at a comedy club.
You find like, I think like what works for me is it's like we have a balance. It's like we do make a lot of time for each other and we do show up for each other outside of comedy. But it's like it's just like nice to know that like there's a just understanding and like genuine just like respect of like, I want you to succeed and you want me to succeed, and we're just like really proud of each other.
Right.
But it's hard, like that is rare.
Yeah, really
like
rare.
really, really rare.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to find out what you prioritize. So.
Yeah.
Like, yo, it's kind of like when I was like, look, let me just, please understand that I'm trying to get somewhere.
Right.
Once I get there, maybe things will be easier. But let me get there. Like, don't.
But really, with comedy, it's like once you get there, it's gonna be harder.
For sure.
Well, hopefully you're making enough money you can sit them next to you on the plane.
Yeah,
and then
like,
it becomes
literally.
Or
cushy.
get them booked with you.
Yeah, or get them booked with you. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's,
There's this female comedian. She was like, oh, do you guys know who her man? And this girl's like, oh, hell yeah, he's hot. And she's like, great. Now I know there's a girl here who wants to fuck my man. Well, I ain't gonna keep you guys too long. I know it's school night and it's late. So I appreciate you, Samantha, for coming through.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, no, this was great. This was so fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys came through. I appreciate it. Samantha, tell them your Instagram so they can find you.
My Instagram is Samantha Stands Up. I'm on that on TikTok as well, and follow our show. As well, Area Rug Comedy.
And what's your Instagram so they can find you?
Mine is Caroline_Watson, and
with
then
a K.
Yeah, with a K.
Caroline with a K.
And then really follow Area Rug Comedy. yeah.
Definitely love your name and the way you present it.
Thank you.
It's a great name.
Thank you.
Watson.
Did you have Emma Watson envy?
No Emma Watson envy.
I wish you would start last name first. Watson.
Caroline.
Watson.
Oh, like I'm Bond.
Yeah. And this is like
Watson Caroline. That might be. That's a mouthful.
I played a lot of sports in high school, and so I was called Watson for like
it's a good last name.
years of my
it's
life.
like a strong athletic last name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming through.
Thank you.
I hope you blow up. Hope you're on Netflix, Hulu, whoever's popping at the time, and I hope you're producing big shows. And I'm definitely gonna come check you guys out.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, let's know. We'll always add you the guest list.
For sure. All right.
Yeah.
Until next time. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah. You looking for me, you can find me at the spot. Chopping it up with Jonah, we talking about what's hot on the block. Up in Dago, man, we bumping. Keeping it confidential, you notice how we coming, we ain't friend. Looking for that real, better tune in and stick by. Put on for the city every time that I dip by. Getting to that gritty every time that we sit down. Promise you it's real every time that I get round. Come on. Been in the field playing.